This is an Alternerd reality podcast.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Alternate Reality Podcast. This is a podcast for all things nerdy, all things gaming, basically all things awesome. I am your usual host, Chewburger84. And from our pre-show chat, we discovered that this man is definitely not about the risky business. It is Hebrew Hammer. How are you, buddy?
I am very good. Even better because I'm not about that risky business.
Not about, exactly.
Yep.
That's it. There is something to be said about playing it safe.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I remember one of our family friends when I was younger, her version of sex education, when she heard that my parents gave me the talk, basically said, look, all you're going to know is this. If it's not on, it's not on. And I was like, okay, I feel you.
Words of wisdom.
I get it. Yeah, 100%. And the pre-show chat was also definitely turned into an episode of Family Matters with Dahooch. How are you, buddy?
Doing all right. Having a good time. That was a good pre-show chat, actually.
I liked it.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, well, huge nerd battle at the start. Jackie, one of our patrons.
Stand by
hot.
everything I said. Stand by everything I
Well, yeah, I mean, we're definitely reevaluating your position on this podcast after saying that Batman is overrated.
said. I am correct on everything I said for that.
No.
100%. Yes.
Yeah. Do you know what? I actually
disagree.
should have done the shameless shilling before mentioning that you think Batman sucks.
yeah, that's true. Now you have to
we've
go
got
forward
No
with it.
hope.
Yep.
No hope. All right, let's get out of the way. All right, so if you are a fan of the show, please tell your friends about it, because obviously we know nerds who love nerds. It really helps out the show. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. If you do leave us 5 stars with a 5 stash, my goodness, my brain hole is broken this week. If you leave us a 5-star review with comments, we will read it out live on air next week. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can go over and sign up on our Patreon. And I'm stoked to say this week we had 2 new people sign up. Blaff06, who we've known for a long time from the MSF days. Thank you for your support. And also to Kelmar, who has joined as a multiverse master and joined us for a little while in the Patreon pre-chat as well. So thank you. And we have our first ever, and I didn't think this was ever going to happen because it was kind of created as a joke.
Yeah.
We have a joke tier on the Patreon page, which there's no real perks from it other than just, you support us more than anyone else, basically. But we have our first motherfucking space whale, ladies and gentlemen. So Tadella, the hulked out hero himself, dude, he supported so many of our projects.
For real.
And I cannot say enough how much I appreciate everything this guy's done for us. So, we officially have the highest tier of support we've ever had from this gentleman. So, Tadella, a very heartfelt thank you, my brother. We very, very much appreciate everything you do for us. And if you would like to join him in the ranks of our Patreon, get access to the private chats and whatnot, head on over to patreon.com/ANRpod. Boys, the week leading into Christmas, we're so close to the finish line of 2020. Do you think we can stave off some kind of, I don't know, what's left? Is there a meteor coming?
Meteor coming is the big one that comes to my mind.
I don't know why everybody thinks 2021 is just all of a sudden going to turn and be like, hey, you got through that. We're good now.
It's how much more bad shit can you fit in? So
Can I have 2 fucking days of optimism for the start of
No.
January, please? Come on.
No.
Don't ruin this for me.
Nope.
Oh my God.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Look, I think it's
meteor.
going to be some kind of alien symbiote that fuses with coronavirus so that we actually have like the personification. It's going to be like Venom, but like a huge dick that just licks people and makes them cough, I think is what's going to be on the asteroid that crashes to Earth.
Probably.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
And that's still a better concept than what I've seen for that coronavirus movie coming out next year. Have you guys seen that trailer?
Jesus.
Yeah.
No, not yet.
It's like, I think it's COVID-23 or something is the name of the disease in that. And it's all about how like they have these mandatory devices like built into your phone that has temperature screening. And if you get a fever, then you get like a security squad say, we're going to be at your house in 4 hours. Do not leave. We're coming for you. And then like it's about people trying to escape. And, it's, too soon, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
on brand.
We kind of live COVID, the movie. Do we really need to watch it?
Exactly.
I mean, I guess reality TV is a thing. So
But there's nothing real about reality TV.
that is true. That is true. I mean, the Kardashians, the definitions of that. I mean, what are they now? Like maybe 40% real, like physically. Some of them now.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Real mob wives, dude. Shit's real as fuck, dude.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I haven't seen that show, and I don't think I ever will. I've seen a couple episodes of Kardashians because I have a wife, and sometimes I have to pretend to like things that she likes because that's marriage. But yeah, dude, it's so painful. Like it's not ideal.
I mean, all right. I will say this. So I do like watching some reality TV. Love Island. Still like
you still
best.
fucking on this?
I'm telling you, dude. I mean, from as far as like a profit
Jesus
model
Christ.
makes the most sense. Hold up like fucking, I guess overall like 20 male and female people that are incredibly attractive. Put them in a house and watch the shit that ensues. Like it's a brilliant monetary strategy.
See, I hate that most of what you know from Australians is from Love Island.
It is 100%.
Which I'm going to say
Yep.
is the worst that we have to offer the world have gone on that show.
It
right?
looks pretty bad from my perspective.
And then me,
yeah.
right? You've got them, and then me is all you know about Australia.
Yeah.
So your
Hey.
perception of us is going to be so fucked.
Very skewed.
You're
Very
forgetting about
skewed.
Aussie Man, and then
Oh, Aussie man, yeah.
Aussie Man.
Aussie
Yeah.
Man too, yeah. No, he saves it
Of
for you
course.
guys. He saves it for you guys. So yeah.
What about
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman?
Oh yeah, that damn Hugh Jackman. He's barely Australian at this point.
I'm
He's
about to
superseded
say-
the rest of the human race.
Yeah.
He's the best of all of us in one human being.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
And don't
mean,
you also claim Mel Gibson?
What's that?
Mel
So
Gibson.
don't you also claim Mel Gibson?
Yeah, no, he's Australian. I still think he's great. I mean, sure, he said some things he probably shouldn't have, and treated some people the way he shouldn't have. But yeah, you can't deny that Lethal Weapon was a great series.
I just think Hugh Jackman's parents. Fuck, I've never seen someone hit the nail on the head so right. Naming him Hugh Jackman, huge jacked man. Fucking
Right.
perfect. Like I've never seen
Yeah.
anything so practical. Yeah. Beautiful.
That's it. Hashtag would bang. Yeah. All right.
100.
Let's talk about what we've been playing this week. So you're not playing Cyberpunk at all anymore, are you, Hebrew?
Nope. I want to have a good experience with it. So no.
Who this man?
Pew
I
pew.
see what you did there. So we're going to do the news for Cyberpunk while we talk about it. But let's talk about game experience first. How have you been finding it this week, Hooch?
I've been having a freaking blast. I think I came to the conclusion that any game that is an open world game of this nature, I'm just not going to finish the story because I'm just going to have too much fun doing all the side quest stuff. I currently own Skippy, the automatic pistol. Yes. I recently found the fastest car in the game by going back through and finding an old quest place and exploring through there. It's
The
just
Caliban.
Yes, the Caliban. I've also, because I've been fixing my quick hack abilities, just running around spreading virtual coronavirus to everybody and having them die on the spot. It's just so many different things about the game are just so absolutely fun. Finding all of the spots where you just do like the random side jobs that you don't know what they are until you get there. A lot of times, and just even those like small stories there with the different fixers that you have, establishing relationships with them, learning about who they are. It's just been a whole lot of fun. It's been it's kind of sketchy with like performance a little bit. I had to turn some stuff down. I'm a little disappointed in that. I've had a couple of bugs and weird things here or there with the like the UI. Like for example, I can sell stuff en masse, but I can only craft things one at a time. That doesn't make any sense. So there's some decisions there that are kind of questionable, but overall, just still having a blast with the game and wanting to play like every day.
I'm very much the same. Like, there's definitely bugs in there. I mean, obviously, we're talking about the PC version on decent rigs here. Like, we're running recent gen Intels as well as a 2080 super card. So, I mean, our experience is going to be very different to most people's. But yeah, man, I'm loving it. This whole world, I'm very much in love with. Even with the performance issues, like as you say, I've had to turn a few things down as well myself now because there's some sequences which obviously they're very, very graphically demanding. But yeah, it's just an awesome world, and a lot of those side quests now, like the more that I'm going into the proper ones, like not just the side gigs. But there are so many of those like mini story arc. I don't know if you've gone into the journal, Hooch, but I decided to go to the bottom and work my way up for the ones I got at the start of the game with people I completely forgot about.
Oh.
A lot of those little like stories within stories are awesome. Like I'm pretty sure I accidentally just unleashed a serial killer on the city by helping this person. Yeah. And then like, like the boxing competition where like, you can go out there and it's like, beat some dudes.
Yeah, I did the first one of that where you have to face off against twins.
The twins? Oh my God.
Yes.
Does that showcase how shit melee combat is or what?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's part of the thing. It's like, it's just when you dodge out of the way of someone, but he manages to have super stretched rubber arms and still hit you anyway, you're like, it just doesn't feel good.
I hate it. They glitch and they just like all of a sudden he's teleported across the ring and you're like, what? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I went on and did another one of those where this guy's having an argument with his wife who is heavily pregnant when you get there, and he's betting the car against you in the match. And when you inevitably kick his ass, you basically have a choice of, do I just take this dude's car away from him and his baby mama when they're clearly broke? Do you just take money off him instead but let him keep the car? Do you so there's a few of those witchery type choices starting to come in, but I'm also starting to sense that there's a few Witcher style traps in here as well, that some of the things that seem like the right choice are actually the wrong choice. Like I have a feeling I've got some consequences coming up because there's two things I'm like, oh no, that is not what I intended. Not at all. And I'm curious to see if they'll pay those off. If they do, yeah. So the narrative is really starting to grow on me as well. Obviously, there's the three sort of major storylines overarching everything. They get quite interesting as well. But yeah, man, I'm absolutely loving this game. I think I'm maybe 50, 60 hours or something into the PC playthrough now. Like it's a lot.
Nice.
Level 36, maxed out street cred. So, and yeah, still absolutely enjoying going down every alley and doing all the side quests. Like when this game is at peak performance, man, people are going to love this game. And it's just such a shame that, we are in the weirdest territory for a game. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. I mean, you've been in the industry for a long time, Hooch. Have you ever seen anything like what's happening with Cyberpunk right now?
No, not that I can recall, but I think this is one of those super hyped games and everybody was waiting for it, and there isn't anything else that anyone can really do right now. So that kind of leads into the whole thing about where the hype is giving us something to do, right? Mm-hmm. And when it's disappointing and it doesn't deliver, there's more of a focus on it because there's really nothing else we can do.
Well, I mean, there's a big difference. I mean, Avengers is a disappointment, but this, I mean, for some people, it's not even playable. So, I mean, I have never, ever seen that I can remember a title this high profile where Sony just said, okay, you know what? We're going to offer a blanket refund to anyone who wants it, and we're going to pull it from the store until they tell us it's fixed. I cannot think of any other time that this has happened.
I think the only other two times that come close are EA's release of SimCity, where you couldn't play the game at all. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the second one, not necessarily as bad, but still brings back some memories, was the Diablo 3 initial launch.
Oh, that was really sketch.
Super bad. Yeah.
I remember that. I was playing the Old
nothing
Republic.
I think to nothing I think to this level where they're pulling it from the store. And in those other two instances, the game just no one could play really. It wasn't just a certain section of people couldn't play. No one could play because the servers couldn't stay up. Right. Yeah. If the servers could stay up, then the game was fine. So here you don't have that problem. Just the game isn't functioning very well.
Yeah. And the PS5 drops, like, let me be real.
I think that just like PlayStation is known for being like so fucking scummy as far as their like return policies or lack thereof for games that don't fulfill promises. So for them to do this is pretty fucking bad. Like that just shows.
Well, let me say that's where they started. So Cyberpunk were the first ones earlier in the week to come out and just say, look, we acknowledged that it's in bad shape. So if you bought the console versions, we're going to let you do refunds. But apparently they didn't talk to Sony or Xbox about it, especially Sony. So after seeing that, and obviously with how, the frequent crashes on PS5 is why I left the PS5 version for the PC. I said, well, I'm going to try for a refund because I'm not going to play it on there in its current shape. I've already bought the game on PC anyway, so they're still getting my money. Let's do it this way. So I applied for the refund. And I got a message back that no shit was clearly a copy paste. No, dear sir, sorry you're having a bad experience. Like you would see in any other customer service. It was literally Cyberpunk has announced that they're still working on improving the game. Here's the link to their Twitter where they said they're going to fix it. That was it. Like there was no hi, bye. It was just they're going to make it better. That was the whole response from Sony. I was like, well, you can go fuck yourself. And I thought that was going to be it. And then literally a couple hours later, the announcement came out from Sony and they actually emailed me proactively. So that leads me to be curious. Did you guys get emails from Sony or did I only get one because I requested a refund previously?
I saw that they had there was I think a link or something or a page that you could go to request a refund.
That's on the Twitter, but did you actively get sent that link? Because I did.
This
is what I'm curious about.
And I did not. I did not request one because I'm just going to wait for the PS5 and play it then. So I am keeping.
I think that's probably. I was probably in their system as someone that requested one because I was going to say if they sent that out proactively, encouraging people to take a refund. That would be insanity.
I would have never. Yeah, I would have never guessed that PlayStation would do anything like that. So I'm assuming that that's not the case.
It's still massive. Yeah, and it's so funny that like all of this could have been avoided. And I saw that they had like an investor call in because obviously everyone's shitting themselves with the stock pricing going in the toilet, which we talked about last week at CD Projekt Red. Is the investor said, look, did you not just think about delaying it further? And the conversation basically went, look, we spent a lot of time optimizing this for PC. And a lot of our efforts is making it as great as we can for next gen. If we're honest, we really didn't think that much about the existing console generation. And we should have. So, yeah, it seems like they've definitely acknowledged where they fell short here. But what I worry about for the future of the game is that they're going to spend so much time now getting it right for the old consoles. I don't know how you do it. With how it looks on PC, I do not know how you make this even close to what they do here on those console versions. But I think it's going to come at the cost of like DLCs, expansions, the multiplayer, which was supposed to come early next year. Like all of that has to be dead now until they fix it, unfortunately. And I think part of me just wishes they'd sort of go, all right, forget it. You can have your money back for the existing consoles. This is a next generation game now. I don't know. I don't know what the right call is here.
That was my call. The second I saw it, I was like, this should have never been released for old generations. This should have been PS5, Xbox X, and PC only. Like this should not have been available for anything else. So, and it for just the reasons that you mentioned, I would say that they just need to refund everyone on a PS4. Or Xbox One, and then, or is it on even Xbox?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's on Xbox One. Okay.
Yeah.
Same issue.
So then, so then refund for both of those, and then call it a day. Keep working on new content and releasing obviously the PS5 version. That should come out like quicker, I think.
So here's the kind of issue that you run into with that. I mean, the game was announced a long time ago to be like several years ago, and the target at the time wasn't it initially targeted for like PS3 or something, and then got moved to PS4.
It was always PS4.
Was it always gonna be PS4? Okay. Oh, that's right, because it was like 2013.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would have always been PS4. So yeah, it would have been PS4, Xbox One. That's when it was targeted for. And when you get to the development on that, and you're near the end of that console life cycle, and then a new console comes out, to be able to switch and just jump from the current gen and go, oh no, we're only doing next gen, and then also with hearing that there's going to be a console shortage, I don't blame them for trying to maintain and keep the old gen. But I think, what
they released a subpar product, like
no.
purposely?
So what they should have done is they should have focused more on the current gen, right, or the old gen or whatever, and then been like other studios were like, hey, we will push a next gen version, soon. Don't split yourself too much like that, because the game was so ambitious and because you needed to have it work well across the PC and the current gen. Like there's just a lack of optimization here. That's the problem.
I just think they should have released it as a PC game originally and then adapted it to PS5 because I mean the PS4's version and the Xbox version are so bad that it's literally like why even bother have worked on it in the first place? So if that's what took up time, then that's their mistake, because they should have known as developers way before anyone else that was not going to work out well. So yeah.
Well, the other thing you also have to deal with is they struck several deals with different publishers or distributors to push out the versions in different territories. So those deals were made, I think, based on what was going to be available. So it probably would have been very difficult to turn around and restructure that
as well. Like, they were asking, like, was there a lot of external pressure that you had to release this game right now, right? You know, why didn't you delay it? And they said no, it was just, you know, there was no real external pressures, but internally we wanted to get this out. But I agree. I think the PC version should have been now, and then just do the console down the track. I mean, it's not like games haven't done that before, you know. Or you see, like, console.
I just feel like they got
now,
greedy.
Yeah, like, I think you probably have to admit that there is some of that there. I mean, the fact that they released the existing console version as is, yeah. I mean, they're kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't. I mean, they were getting death threats when they announced a 30-day delay, right? If they had to put another 6 months, they were going to get death threats. You release it like this, they're getting death threats. And please, let me remind everyone, sending death threats to people who are trying to make something that you love, even if you're not happy with it, is fucked beyond belief, right?
Yeah.
Get over yourself, eat a dick, you know, have a Coke and a smile, whatever. But, you know, yeah, it's obviously disappointing. So, look, I hope they get it right for the people in the current generation. But, like, the last thing you want it to do is take a year, next console's in full swing, availability is not an issue, and then they never get that investment back. Because I don't think they will. The time and money they're going to spend on getting the PS4, Xbox versions right, you know, what segment of the market? I guess there's a lot of seeded platforms out there. Like, we do have millions of consoles, and that'll take a long time for people to upgrade. But it is, if they do this, I think, I don't know. I feel like there should be acknowledgement that they do spend the time getting it right if they do it. But I don't think they'll get it. People go, well, you should have done it in the first place. You know what I mean?
I've never seen a game, I think, in my opinion, they look so greedy for trying to do this, because it's unplayable on the original consoles, in my opinion. It certainly would not be quantified as a good game in the slightest bit. So for them to actively release that and say, yeah, okay, sure, people can pay money for this.
But they have actively said anyone that buys it will let them get their money back. You don't think that is them trying to resolve that?
I think that by them releasing it in the first place speaks way more than them reacting to massive amounts of backlash and then giving in. I think that's a PR response.
Where do you stand, Hooch? For me, I don't know. I'm kind of the other way. I mean, most companies would ride this wave of people would get over it. I don't see too many companies, when they fuck up to this extent, go, you know what, you are right. Have your money back. We'll get it right. And then you can decide if you want to buy it again later.
Yeah, I think most companies would do that. They would just be like, okay, we messed up, but we're fixing it. Hold on. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about what happened with the Avengers.
No Man's Sky did that.
Right?
No one was offering refunds when they were absolute trash on launch, and they never did. And people didn't go back to them.
Yeah, but none of those games were as hyped as this game. Like, I think if this
Are
game
you kidding me? No Man's Sky was hyped beyond belief.
No Man's Sky was super
hyped. Fucked that game. Yeah.
I don't think No Man's Sky was as hyped as Cyberpunk. I would say it's probably not near as hyped as Cyberpunk.
There was a lot of the community
phenomenal
based on an E3. I want to say about 2 or 3 years before that game launched, with what they were telling everyone that game was going to be. I disagree. It was a unbelievably hyped game.
I guess we don't know, but I'm pretty confident.
No Man's Sky, I think, had more hype leading, like more high. I guess the thing about Cyberpunk was the burn was longer, right? The hype
because of
was
Witcher 3.
For Cyberpunk
It's because Witcher 3 was great, and then every expansion pack they brought for it got better and better, even still. And there was so much love that got built for that. And then obviously now you've got fans being injected because more people, from hearing about the game and that universe, like, people might not play video games, but they might hear of that world of creatures and mutants and, you know, a guy with a sword going out basically being like a Van Helsing style character and go, that sounds cool. I'm going to find the book. And then Henry Cavill's in a TV show. So you have all these different versions of fandom and nerd coming together for one big super event that, you know, it's going to be hyped.
This is a decent way to measure it. All right. So if we look at pre-orders of the game, No Man's Sky had 170,000 pre-orders. Cyberpunk 2077 had 8 million pre-orders.
Yeah. Now, No Man's Sky, did it have the exclusivity agreement, Hooch? There was something when that game came out, it wasn't everywhere.
I thought, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the hype was the same, but for that year, No Man's Sky was the release of that year that gamers were looking forward to. Like, it was that game of this year. Remember, 2020 is like no other year for gaming or nerdy money than ever before. I mean, this game hit the record for most concurrent people on Steam playing the same game at just under 1.1 million people. It had the most concurrent people on Steam as a whole this week, with 24 million people being logged in at the same time, right? It's an incredible year where we've seen gaming adoption go to heights it's never been before, and the jump from year on year is insane. Like 2020 and COVID have brought more people to our worlds than ever before, and it's fantastic that we've got so many new people here. But that brings with them obviously a lot of people that are not going to be forgiving when this kind of shit happens. And whether they deserve it, I guess we're going to have to wait and see what they do over the next 12 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that they did offer. Like, I am glad that they did, whether it was a PR move or not, which I think is our differences. Like, I am glad that they certainly offered that, because if they didn't, I feel like that would have been the most horseshit.
You are easily burnt, though. Anytime a government releases one thing that you're like, fuck you, and the horse you came in on, I'm never buying anything for you again. Like, Crystal Dynamics makes just banger after banger after banger. They do one Avengers, and you're like, this is the worst developer I've ever seen. You do turn pretty hard when you turn.
Yeah, I do.
So we're canceling Crystal Dynamics, and now we're canceling CD Projekt Red.
Yes.
I'm having no part of this. I love them both. Hey, just because we've had wonderful, loving sex for years, just because we had one bad run for a week, you don't walk away from the marriage. You work at it, all right? That's a relationship I have.
Not whenever one party's not willing to work on the marriage. You tell me Avengers is working on that marriage. Fuck that.
Look, they gave me a very phoned in hand job with the Kate Bishop DLC. If we get to a very, there's a massage leading to a blowjob with the next thing. If I can see that effort's there, then maybe we'll make it work. I still have enough love that I believe that we'll get it right.
Oh, God.
And then, maybe we'll get sweet love, have unprotected sex, and then we'll, have an expansion pack of our own.
I have a feeling that will not be the case.
All right. Did you play anything else this week, Hammer? What have you been playing?
Not much. I mean, I dipped back into the next game that we're going to talk about, which is Realm of Champs on mobile. Yeah. Realm of Champions. Yeah. I mean, do we want to just get into that one now? Or?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. For sure.
So yeah, it did just release finally globally, which is good, I guess, for those that want to play it. Still gigantic problems. I know we just spoke about this, I think not last episode, but the episode before, but the issues, particularly with me, like the thing that still sticks with me the most is the fucking AI in this goddamn game is terrible, and the matchmaking is even worse to boot. So I dipped my toe in, and then I gracefully dipped it back out. So yeah, that was my experience with it. What about you?
Yeah, I don't think the term pulling out with a vengeance would be a term that I would ever use, but that's the only way to describe what I'm doing with this game. I mean, I was deep in the beta, as you know. I maxed out all the characters as far as I could. Yeah. And then they decided, towards sort of mid-beta, they were going to change the way that the scoring system works. So they tried to do almost like an ELO from League of Legends, but the penalties were severe. To the point now you might get 3 to 4 points for a win, but you can lose 17 for a loss. Yeah. And when you are paired with two bots that play like someone who AFK'd and just basically runs their face at a wall, because they got disconnected, that is basically what the AI does. If you get paired with melee bots, you are fucked, because that Hulk is just going to run into the enemy base, get shot by the missiles because it's so dumb it won't even stay out of the range of those things, right? Yeah. It is awful. And you get to a point now where there is no progression unless you get with 3 other mega Kraken type things, and then you basically go up against people and just farm off of them and making their game experience awful so that you can actually get the gear progression. It is incredibly greedy game, even by other standards, in ways I can't describe. So it went to global launch I literally saw the offers come out with seconds. The offers updated before the new parts of the game and the free gifts for day one came out, right? Mm-hmm. And then the first pack that I saw was $40 for gear that was very misleading in the way that the description was. So what you can do is buy these packs where it's like one of each slot, and then there is a randomized roll. And I think like even for a slight upgrade, the odds are like 8%. It's terrible value. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, this is mainly an aesthetic pack. And then it's like, okay, I get that. But if I buy this and that gear is worse than what I'm wearing now for statistics, to wear this very attractive new gear, you're saying I'm paying $40 for gear I'm not going to use and won't get to see? That's a terrible idea. And then I play the new character Cap, which you have to buy at the moment because the game mode to unlock him is only on weekends, and you need about a month of those weekend events and maxing those events as well, by the way, which is quite a few hours of gameplay to unlock him. So it is good that there is a vehicle for free to play, but it was $15 Australian dollars, and he's a very fun character. But as soon as I got him up to the third tier of the battle rating, which is the way they have their ELOs, his pack came out, which was $80.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
And you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, I mean, it's not like a new character that's so overpowered. This is just for average gear that you're just going to farm. I'm like, because it makes him look like the Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. And I look at this and I just go, look, the whole system, because I remember talking to the devs about it. Mm-hmm. I said, you guys don't understand how fucked this matchmaking system is. And more importantly, the progression system is that if you are not in a competitive threesome with two people that you know very well on voice chat, people are not going to move forward once they get into the defender tier because it's too fucked. You lose one match and you get like 22. So you might be playing an hour worth of games and then win, and then 2 losses, you've undone everything. I said there's nothing fun about that. There is nothing fun about it. The odds suck, and they said matchmaking will fix this, don't worry. When more people come to the game, there'll be less bots. And I said, I very seriously doubt that that's enough. It's the core mechanics of the problem, right? The AI sucks. It's glitchy. I've had multiple times where my guys just run into the enemy base. I'm like, I'm not doing this. Yeah. And it's not lag or latency because I end up doing frame counters and connection tests at the same time. It's just in a really bad state. And I'm surprised they released it. And then they released their roadmap for what's coming in the next year. Dude, half the cool shit you would want to see, they're not even doing. It's just like, oh, we're going to put in this game mode that was in early beta that we broke. We're going to put that in. Isn't that going to be exciting? So, no, I played that. It wasn't that exciting a game mode, to be honest.
Yeah.
So... this is a game we were really, really hyping up a lot when we're walking away from Marvel Strike Force as something that could really take it on, and it's bad. I can't believe I'm saying this. If I had to pick a mobile game to play that was Marvel themed of those two, it's not Realm of Champions.
Yeah,
and we both know my feelings on Marvel Strike Force. Fun game, but super predatory. But it is a better game than this. It is.
Yeah, this game folds like not too long from now, I think, because it just as you said, it's going to. I mean, like just in order to play it decently, you need to have the AIs gone, which means you need other players. And I think that whenever people experience how slow the gameplay is, how terrible it feels, and all of the glitches and the terrible AI, people are going to drop like flies, and then it's going to go back to AIs dominating your team, and then you're going to just get rid of the player base to the point where there's no point in actually playing it. So
games that rely on the player base being like very, very high, we've seen this happen over and over, that you can have a wonderful product, but if the community doesn't come there straight away, you're instantly fucked. Like, I mean, they're really, really fun MMOs like WildStar suffered because of that. They didn't have enough people to make it the experience you needed it to. Not enough people playing PvP, etc. So real disappointment for how hyped we were for that project, especially with the way that they were describing it. It's you join the House of Hulks or you join the House of Iron. All the iron suits, and that's going to be the thing. It just really disappointing.
Even the way they did that wasn't great. Like I remember thinking, like the three of us, whenever we first like started playing, we were all thinking, well, this wasn't what we thought it was going to be. We thought it was going to be a little cooler than this. So everything felt very lacking there.
From one part of a company, because this is made by Kabam, that did not listen to any of us who gave them this feedback over and over again throughout beta. Disney Mirrorverse is another game they've been working on. And the beta for this started around the same time, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And it was a stunning game for mobile, right? It was beautifully rendered. It had some of your favorite Disney characters in there. Buzz Lightyear looked just stunning. And not in like the cartoony Disney Sorcerer's Arena style way, but like a really well 3D rendered. Like it looked stunning, but the gameplay was a little bit meh. Like it wasn't that exciting. It was kind of everyone was doing their auto shooting thing.
Right.
You wait until someone's ult come up. In between, you tap on the character you want to not die, move him out of the danger zone, rinse, repeat. Wasn't much to be seen. This, however, is a division of Kabam that actually fucking listened to the people who were giving them feedback in beta. And I walked away ages ago, and I cannot believe how many of the things that we said back then, hey, this would be really cool to see, they went, hold our beer for a really, really, really long time. We'll be back. And here they are. They redesigned the game.
Right.
It is now like you control light attacks, heavy attacks, dodges. You can focus on one main character doing all the things that you want to, and then like have the other sort of supporting cast use their ults. So if you only want to really play as one character, you can. Albeit the harder levels, you're probably still going to have to tag team between the three, pulling them in and out at the right moments. But it is in much, much, much better shape than what it was. This is a game that I could see myself playing if they continue to expand it. It's still in early beta sort of phasing. It's still only in the Philippines. But I've seen full release games, Realm of Champs being a great example, that are in nowhere near as good a shape as this thing is right now. And they're at full release. And this is beta. Now, to make it up to people like myself that invested a lot of time in that game and maxed out a lot of the characters, they sent us so much free shit to make up for it that I've got almost all the characters at full 5-star max now, and I still have like 18,000 of the currency left.
That's good to see. That's fantastic.
Really cool, because we thought system wipe meant all the progress is gone, in which case I probably would have waited to full release. But the fact that they gave me most of what I had back at least, and the option to buy some of the new stuff coming out, the model of economy potentially bothers me, because new characters, to unlock them, it doesn't look like you can just get them. You have to, very much like Marvel Contest of Champions, roll on an orb where it's more likely you get those characters.
Right.
Okay. Now, in saying that, there is a currency that when you max a character out, kind of like Dragon Champions, there's like a premium currency you get, or like Ultimus Orbs in MSF. We don't know what you're going to be spending those on yet, but there is something you're going to be able to do with your leftovers. So that's hopeful. But if you're a Disney fan, I think you should give this a crack. At least give it a crack. Because just to see these characters that you love, like, you know, Belle from Beauty and the Beast, or Buzz Lightyear, or Scar from The Lion King, or Mulan, you know, in a way that they've chosen a very specific part of, okay, how would we translate that person into a video game? Well, Belle's going to be a healer. Or what's the guy from Big Hero 6? Baymax?
Baymax,
yeah.
Yep, so they completely redesigned his graphical model. He is stunning in this game. He actually looks better in this game. Sully looks great too. Yeah.
Great. I really wanted to play him. That was actually one of the big reasons I was like, oh, shit.
He's a fun tank. Yeah, he's a really fun tank. So look, I have been, this is a game that I'm like, oh man, I'll wait till see what they do. And the fact that I hadn't heard anything in such a long time, and there'd been no new content even in the months that I'd walked away, this has been a really pleasant surprise in a week of obviously Cyberpunk doing it rough, Realm of Champs releasing in just really bad fashion, and their plans don't look great. To see Mirrorverse go, you know what, we heard you. Thanks for doing the beta testing for free. We actually were listening. Here's the results. I love this. More developers do this, please. Because gamers don't say shit, or some do, but most gamers don't say shit to make you feel bad. They're saying it because they're playing something that you made that they love, and they want it to succeed.
Exactly.
Right? That's where most of this anger from nerds comes from, is that they love something so much. And yeah, they take it too far. I'm not going to defend these fucking death threat wankers. No way. Like, incels need to get laid. But at the same time, though, that's where it comes from at the start. We're going to talk about that. I did that
Can't put
deliberately.
this on Twitch now.
Yeah. Now, I thought getting back in the Mirrorverse and having that experience would be the coolest thing that one of us did on mobile this week. And then fucking Hooch comes in, big dick swinging. Right? Talk about your fucking news, Hooch. You pissed me off.
Oh my god! Wait! Is that what I think it is? I thought you just said news. Is it what I think it is?
I held on to this one because I knew we were gonna. I got clearance that we could talk about this, or that I could talk about my experience with this. So I knew I was coming in that I was going to be pulling this out. I'm in the Diablo Immortal Alpha.
Oh
So
my
first of all,
fucking
fuck
God.
you.
Fuck
But,
you,
yes.
dude.
Go for it.
So I got a chance to play around with that for a little bit.
How long have you been in it? I just need like a little bit of background. How long have you been in it? When did you?
I've not heard Hebrew this excited
So,
for the entirety of this podcast. This is episode
I know,
16.
right?
This is the first time he lit up like Pinocchio coming to life, like a real boy.
I knew the chance to be in it was several weeks ago when I first heard about it.
Right.
But I really it only started yesterday. So yeah, I've only had that amount of time to play it.
Okay, I didn't realize that it just started yesterday. Okay.
It just started. So I played a little bit last
dude.
night,
Oh.
played some today, and I've got a lot of good feelings.
Oh my
about
God,
this
tell me everything.
So I'm gonna all right. So rather than me spitting stuff to you, I thought long and hard about this. Like I could list all the stuff that I like, but I wanted to throw it out to you. I also asked some of the guys on Patreon, like, what are some of your burning questions about Immortal?
Oh God, I wish I would have known ahead of time. As far as I'm assuming they only have the characters that they have already announced, right? There's no other characters that they're put in to test so far.
Yeah, so the only characters missing right now from they only have the Barbarian, Demon Hunter, Monk, and Wizard. That's all they have right now.
Okay.
I think the plan is to add the Crusader and Necromancer,
Yeah.
but that's it.
Okay.
They haven't mentioned anything else, so we don't know what's coming maybe at release or after release. So that's all we have at this point.
What's the feeling between 3 to this? Because I was very much afraid that it was going to be like a straight up port, that's slightly different.
Oh no, it is not a port. So
that's
what
good.
they've done is they've turned Diablo into an action RPG, and it plays very much like it. You've got the button on the left, and your skill buttons are all on the right. The difference between this is you're not actually tapping on the characters to attack like you would think you would for a Diablo game.
Right.
You're just tapping. So it's an auto attack, or auto targeting for like your main attack, which has some issues in some cases where if it doesn't know what to shoot at, you have to get kind of close to things. And the problem with Diablo is there's always something nearby.
Bunch of things, yeah.
Exactly. There's a bunch of things, but that's kind of offset by the sort of MOBA style targeting system that you have for a lot of your skills. So if it's an area of effect skill, when you tap on the button, it expands the window or the button area, so you can kind of slide it around to target where you want on the screen.
Okay.
And same thing if it's a directional attack, it'll usually give you like a cone if it's a conal attack, or a straight line if it's a straight line attack. So you have a better idea of where you want to target that.
How does it feel and look on the phone?
It feels really responsive.
Okay.
I haven't felt any problems with it, and I usually don't play games like this.
Right.
So for me to not,
So it's
it would
fairly
be
intuitive
really
feeling?
very, very intuitive.
Okay, good.
Now, to answer your second part of your question, as far as looks, this thing is fucking gorgeous.
Oh God, yes, thank you.
Gorgeous. I mean, it looks so good.
Fuck.
Even the character select screen when you're choosing your first class, they have these these little intros for each character, each class. They're different obviously for each class, but they're also different for the gender that you choose. So the male barbarian and the female barbarian have two different little intros that they show you when you're going to select the character. It's the biggest tick, or the biggest key though, is if you have a newer, really more powerful device, you have what's called the fast FPS mode, and it just kicks the frame rate up.
Fuck yes.
So now it's smooth. It's like 60 frames per second, butter smooth, and just looks so good.
What about the skill trees? How do the skill trees look? Are they Diablo 3 or are they Diablo 2?
Well, the skill trees are a little. They're like different. They're not like Diablo 3. They're you don't choose your own skills kind of thing. Like you have two primary skills that you can choose from, right? And then there's like a bunch of different skills, but it's not like as robust as you had it in Diablo 3, where there's so many different skills that you can build around. There's, I think in the alpha,
I prefer the Diablo 2
15.
method, honestly, to Diablo 3 personally with skills. So
Okay, what was it that you liked about Diablo 2 then?
well, Diablo 2, as far as the like specking trees, I felt like, especially since you had like fast switching was a thing, which it just won't be a thing on the phone, I'm sure. But fast switching, you could constantly toggle through, that you could set key bindings up to toggle through multiple different abilities that you had super quickly.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be it's not anything as complicated as that.
Okay.
Again, think of it, Diablo as an action RPG. The second you come to grips with that, you come to terms with that, then the game will feel like it does. So as I said, you have, I think it's what, 5, you have 4 abilities in your main ability. Yeah, so you have 4 special abilities in your main ability. The other thing about your main ability is it has an ultra mode where you use it enough, you kill enough things, it powers up, and then it gives you a special effect or even stronger ability.
Okay.
So for example, for the what you call Demon Hunter, you have just the standard shooting of the crossbows and stuff. When you get the ultra, it becomes this conal rapid fire craziness where you're just shooting just tons and tons of arrows and just mowing things down.
Right.
So some other things about it is there's there are like hub areas where you're out in the open world wandering around, and you come across different players, and everybody's just kind of wandering in this area. But then you can also go off into doing dungeons and things by yourself.
Yes.
The only issue I have with that is it's sort of like the old school WoW thing where mobs are tagged and assigned to people. So if you come across something, you can start shooting at it and they realize, oh, that's not mine. So when it dies, you won't get any rewards for it.
Oh, that sucks.
So I'm curious how that's going to play out when more people are playing. Right now, it's not a big deal. So I think you're going to have like instances that are limited in size. I imagine they've already thought of this.
Yeah, that has to be, because that would be chaos.
Exactly. Yeah. But again, we've seen dumber things happen. So
True.
My hope is that they take that into account. One other issue I had is this could be fixed, but the gear drops are kind of crappy early on. So you're not getting, one of the things about Diablo 3, I guess, is you get a much more rapid progression for gear, it feels like, until you hit like end game, and then all of a sudden it's like you really jump ahead when you get like a good piece of gear.
Yeah.
But so far I think I have like 3 rare pieces, which is usually by now, I think I just hit level 28 in the game, which is the other thing. I think right now the alpha is maxed either at 45 or 60. I'm not quite sure. I'll find out more when I get to that point.
What level are you now? Like after how many hours of play?
28. I think I've probably put in about 3 or 4 hours.
Okay, so it's fast moving. Or is it? I'm assuming that now it's slowing down a bit more.
Yeah, now it's slowing down a little bit more,
Okay.
but the story is pretty fun and engaging. So apparently it takes place between Diablo 2 and 3 as far as the timeline goes. So that's good. You're seeing some familiar faces, like your boy Hooch or Chu, Deckard Cain is in there. And
Oh yeah.
Deckard
Yeah.
Cain.
That's why they had to
Wow.
set that time frame so we could bring him back.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Cain's in there. It also touches on use of some familiar areas like West March is what
okay, yeah.
Yeah, so West March is in there. Again, as I said, it feels really good. I'm having some fun with it. I think one of the things people are worried about is the monetization and kind of how they're thinking about that. I haven't seen anything that's predatory at this point, but it's still early on, and I haven't reached the end game yet. But I do know there are game modes where you can go into dungeons and use resources to adjust the difficulty of it to have better rewards for people, which is another thing. When you're playing the game, you have various zones, and the zones have a level range. And it's like a 4 level range for each zone. So if you go in the zone, kind of like WoW. So, but if you go into the zone and you meet that range, that criteria, the mobs will be matched to your level.
Okay.
Yep.
If you go in under level, they'll be at the minimum. If you go in over level, they'll be at the maximum.
Gotcha.
Right. So so it does have some sort of dynamic mob or difficulty.
And does the
shifting
loot
for the
seem to be
mobs.
tuned to their level or your level?
No, it's tuned to your level.
That's good.
Yeah. I don't think I haven't seen anything, like I haven't pushed it, like I haven't gone into a level super early, so I don't know if it's going to be like tuned to their level or your level. It feels more like it's tuned to your level.
I'll tell you, I am a little upset at the fact that I want the fucking druid and assassin to come back so bad, and the Amazon. Like I loved Java's.
I've got a feeling they're going to be like premium unlocks.
I hope I will spend. Listen to me. If you're listening right now, Blizzard, I will give you so much money and do things for you that no one has ever done before. If you give me my fucking druid back, please.
Well, I will tell you this much: I have come across an NPC who is a druid.
Oh, that's promising.
So
there was NPC druids in D3.
Was there really?
All right,
I don't remember
There was
any.
one guy, yeah.
Oh, I
Was it
don't
one guy?
remember him.
Places, yeah.
Yeah. So far it's only been one guy, but who knows? Who knows? All I gotta say is,
If we see two, it's confirmed.
yeah, sorry, exactly. The game, as I said, it looks just so good, and it plays.
Dude.
Oh, I cannot let this go. It is a killer on batteries right now.
I expected that.
Part of the reason why I've only been able to play the game for as long as I have is because it keeps chewing up my batteries. I'm literally running 3 devices right now. I have my regular phone, my personal phone, my work phone, and then my iPad. And between those 3 devices, I'm just cycling. Like, okay, you're charging, and I'm playing on you. And then you're charging,
so
you're charging.
fucking cool, dude. I'm so upset with. I'm so happy for you, but also really upset with you at the same time. I don't know how to feel.
Yeah. So look, the good news is, Hebrew, I did the rounds overnight and this morning because it seems like a lot of people are allowed to talk about their experiences with this. A lot of people who I saw shit on all the development of this and the company who Blizzard was contracting to remake this is like just another skin. And rumors were coming out that early builds looked very much like that, especially what people played at the BlizzCon when this was first announced. But everyone that I saw really dumping on this game that whole time has been incredibly positive. Like I've been blown away that it's been consistent. Everyone that's playing this, that at least has reported on their experience that I could find last night, is all saying they're genuinely surprised how well this goes. They said it's a Diablo game. They said it is a Diablo game on a mobile, but that's not a bad thing at all. They're saying it actually runs really well. So, yeah, maybe there is hope after all, buddy.
I'm fucking rock hard right now, dude.
One other thing I want to point out that I'm surprised they'd never added to a Diablo game, or they didn't have in D3. There's an option to just pick up and set which level of gear you just want to automatically pick up, and just run around and you'll just pick gear up while you're going.
I don't know
so
if this game did it, but I've definitely played quite a few games where like it has the auto trash option for crafting or whatever, and you set that tier and it just breaks everything else down. Yeah. So it's not the first time a game like this has done it, but every game should have that. In my opinion.
It's not even so much the auto trash. Like when you kill a mob, there's no more of that frantic click to get all of the gear. It just automatically scoops it up.
Yeah, it's been done. I'm surprised it's not more commonplace. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I want Ubers. Is there any Ubers in there at all? Have you seen any Ubers?
I haven't seen any Ubers. I didn't have a legendary or anything. So
damn. Okay.
And I do know no set pieces.
Hold on.
But actually, I like that. No. I like that there's no set pieces, because one of the things I liked about Diablo 3 was when you got the part where I cannot remember the Legacy of Dreams. When you had the Legacy of Dreams, it made for such like different play styles and different builds that you could have. When you had those set pieces, it kind of just narrowed and honed you in onto one particular play style. Yeah. One build. You had to have these set items to play off this.
It was for the look, though. It was for the look.
Yeah, but you still have transmog.
Was there transmog in this for the mobile version?
Yes. You still have transmog, so fun. You can do all of that.
But I mean, like, like before, there was some sets where, like, if you set it up, like, you took on a totally different appearance, kind of thing.
You did. Yeah. I'm wondering how they're going to handle that.
Yeah, like,
I haven't seen. You can still apply the transmog, so you can keep that even if you weren't equipping the set, though.
Yeah, I know, but it feels like bullshitty if you don't have the set. Like, because usually the sets were not that powerful. So it's like if you wanted to commit to
Are
that.
you kidding? The sets in
D3?
Diablo 3
No.
define whether you win
D2.
in Risk
I'm
or
talking
not.
D2.
Oh, D2.
Oh, okay.
I know, man. Tal Rasha's was always a god tier set.
Tal Rasha's was, but even towards the end, towards like rune words, like that got quickly outdone. But before that, you're right. Tal Rasha's was like the one holdout of like one of the best items for sources. So yeah, I'm with you there. Fuck, man.
And Chew, they also have your favorite thing, Battle Pass is in the alpha as well. So it doesn't seem like,
what does it look? Is it predatory Battle Pass or is it?
It doesn't.
Hearthstone's Battle Pass, like when you
yeah.
say Blizzard and Battle Pass this month,
It doesn't-
my instinct is
yeah.
to tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that can't feel great.
I'm not feeling like there's like a lot of stuff, but they haven't unlocked the paid version yet.
Okay.
So until they unlock that,
Because my understanding is this is going to be a free to play game. Like
Yeah.
everyone can download it and play, but all that other shit you got to pay for.
yeah, it's definitely a free to play game. But one other thing is when you do the quests, it's no longer where am I supposed to go? You actually have they show you where to go by giving you footsteps on the ground that you can follow to the quest objective.
I don't know if I like that or not. Part of the fun of Diablo was, well, part of the fun and frustration, I guess, in equal measure. Yeah.
But you can always explore. You don't have to follow that, or you don't even have to do it. You can uncheck it, right? That's just if you're tracking the quest. So you can just go do the quest on your own. So it gives you the option.
Okay. Interesting. I don't know about those. Because which game was it that we saw the gameplay footage of where they had the druid? Was that Immortal or was that D4? Because they definitely had a druid.
I think that was D4.
That was D4.
Yeah. I'm going to call it now, Hebrew. I reckon that they won't bring the druid into Immortal. I reckon they'll save it for 4.
I actually forgot that they showcased the druid in D4. So I think that because of that, I think
it did look cool,
I
though.
bet you that it will be released with D4 or a bit after D4.
This feels like if they're.
that.
I mean, I still can't believe the words technical alpha are still being applied to this game. When did this get announced?
Immortal?
3 years ago.
2 years ago?
I'm doing my
it 2 or
once per
3?
episode Google
Nah, I
Translate.
think it was 2 years ago.
And now,
What, you guys don't have phones?
Right?
yeah, the infamous.
Look, 2 years ago, if they tried to release this thing on any phone that was out at that point in time, it would literally make the phone melt.
I mean, part of the
Apparently
problem was that
only
they
in late
released
2018.
late 2018.
2018?
Okay,
That's all right.
Well, it was part of the problem was that they said that it was like they shot themselves in the foot. They said it was like basically ready to come out by next BlizzCon.
Well, I think it was, but I think it was in the shape that everyone said it was. Because remember, people played the build of that at the show, and everyone went, yeah, "This is dog shit, bro."
Yeah.
This is not dog shit.
Yeah, that's exciting, man.
Can we
really
watch you
looking forward to
play it, or are you not allowed to?
I know
watch
that
you?
they have. What they're wanting to do is keep it to like content on like Twitch and stuff like that. So content creators there, they want them being the forefront to push the engagement with the player base. So I don't know if that. I didn't get clear if I could do that. I just got clearance.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not pressuring you to, but you have to do it. But I just wanted to. I just wanted to see if they told you yay or nay.
Yeah, no, I don't know yay or nay, and I don't want to push it because I really like being a part of this alpha.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Yeah, I double checked. I don't know how I wasn't opted in for this, but yeah, that needs to change.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm so fucking
Because
jealous.
I will stream the fuck out of it. I haven't streamed in months, but I'll stream that. Oh man, that's exciting. I'm really, really glad to hear that you like it, man, because that's one of my favorite worlds ever. And like D1, D2, my god, I spent some time with that. Even D3. I don't even know how many versions of D3 I own now. Switch, PS4, PC, Jesus.
Yeah.
Outside of it being just a straight D3 clone, what are some other things you guys think would be like, I don't like this, I'm not going to play?
If they had like a lot of shit being locked in PvP, I'd be like, no.
Okay. I haven't seen any PvP yet, so.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, like, I actually really loved D2 PvP. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how if that's optimal now, but I fucking love the hell out of it. I don't know if that's a nostalgia
I was
base
the
though.
opposite. I thought my least favorite thing back then.
Yeah,
I want to see
fucking love that
raids.
shit.
I'd love to see raids.
Raids and everything
In
is
that
just
format.
good end game content. So
Yeah.
yeah, like I would agree with you on that for sure. But their economy system, like, is there what the fuck did they have at the beginning of D3 that fucked everything? The
real
life auction
I've heard
house.
that's coming back. No. Apparently that they will be doing a version of that. They're saying,
I'm sure it's
let
limited.
me be clear, it is not like D3, but there will be a version of it where cash monies can get you shit. So yeah, because that made them way too much money to ignore.
Yeah.
Another thing about gear is with rare and above, there's a rank up system for gear. So you can invest resources into ranking up your gear and improving the stats on it. Not only that, when you get new gear, you can roll the ranks into a new piece of gear.
Okay, that's good.
So yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
Did they have an auction house?
That's a very Destiny system, isn't it?
That is a Destiny
I haven't
system.
seen. There's no auction house in there yet, and I don't know if I've heard mention of one just yet.
Yeah, I was reading something that they said the day that there was definitely a mention that someone said there's going to be some kind of monetization possibility surrounding the auction house. Yeah.
Okay, well, I just wanted one at least in the way that WoW has it.
So,
yeah.
Quick side note. I'm getting blasted because I told someone to I said I don't go into areas that are when I'm under level or over level, but I told my daughter to go into I'm trying not to spoil anything, but to tackle an area in Valhalla when it was recommended level 90 and she was at level 20 something, and I kept telling her, you're fine, it'll be okay, it's just recommended. And she got trounced. And she's still super heated at me about that.
It's a good thing that you were not alive during those actual times, because you would make a terrible father, apparently.
Just go kill that
Just
thing.
go into that war zone. You'll be fine.
You'll be all right.
I'm 3. Yeah, you'll be fine. Go.
What do you say, boys? So we talk about some general nerdy news?
Yeah, let's hop into it.
All right, so when I do inevitably make my comeback on Twitch, apparently I have to be so fucking careful in 2021 because the amount of rules that have changed in the last 3 months alone is nothing short of amazing. To the DSMA overhauls that literally any music that's on your site now, you can just get boned for, whether it's in-game or not. So there's going to be a lot of games now that if they don't have a streamer mode, they're not going to get streamed. Anything that has music in it is screwed. That's been covered pretty in depth. But now, in the new user agreement that people are signing, a few people, doing God's work have gone through and actually read everything. I don't know the last time I actually did that. But yeah, it actually says that they're adding more and more terms that if streamers or people that are fans of streamers use these words, you will be banned from the platform for good. And those words are simp, incel, and virgin.
Yep. Great time to be a Twitcher.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I feel like it's not doing much for the reputation of simps if we have to fucking protect them from that word. Like, how much of a beta bitch do you have to be to go, I am a simp, and yes, I am everything that is described by that, but I'm offended by the term, and I need to be, wrapped in fucking bubble wrap, and I don't know.
Yeah.
This makes me mad this year with just the editorialization of all sorts of language, especially because, so much of this language was created by that community. And yeah.
Well, plus it's just also simping specifically. I think virgin is just stupid that they're getting rid of that. Incel has some pretty negative connotations. Still not a right to ban it because I think it's stupid. But simp has become kind of a not even a negative comedic thing. It's kind of how should I say? Been adopted as a very light self-deprecating kind of thing in a way.
Well, I think that's the key.
It's funny.
If it's not just banning these words outright, it's when they're used
it's
as
insults.
an insult.
That's right.
Yeah. So if somebody were to say, hey, that's simp behavior or something, that's one thing.
There's such a blurred line there.
People get to choose what your fucking context is now.
Exactly.
Right? This is the problem, that when you say this word is bad, it doesn't matter how you used it. Now it could be as simple as, well, I said I'm a virgin, and someone goes, congrats on being a virgin. you could say, well, I didn't like his tone. It's like, how'd you fucking hear a tone? It's words on a screen, you spaz, right?
Yeah.
You look at that and you go, what the hell? So I really don't like this editorialization of it, because what if someone wants to identify as a simp, an incel, or a virgin? Are you removing that right? Because it seems this whole picking and choosing of, if I identify as something, it's great and it needs to be supported and celebrated. But if I don't, no one's allowed to use that terminology ever again. And if you do, I'm going to burn your house down and everyone inside it, right? I've said it many times in this pod, I'm not going to go into it deeply now, but I'm really concerned about the way language is being editorialized like this, because comedy is going to be one of the first victims of this, that you can't even make a joke about these things. And the memes of simp and incels over the last 3-4 years, man, it's driven the internet.
I think there is for sure lines that exist, but this is not where the line is at all.
No.
Not at all.
Oh, look, for sure. If it's genuine hate speech and if it's, really putting someone down, don't get me wrong, I see a necessity for some of this language. But to start putting legalization on a word without context being relevant, that's what I'm against, right? To say that it's this word. It's like if you insult people with this, sphere of insult and you're being deliberately hurtful and hateful, we're probably going to give you some warnings and get you off the platform. But to say if this word comes up and someone perceives it as an insult, no.
So what do we, I guess the thing that, we talk about a lot of this stuff where, Twitch, YouTube, and everything, they're banning people for doing certain things. But I think the one thing we don't really go into is that these are still platforms and, digital spaces that are owned by a company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they have every right to, they don't have to do the same thing with free speech.
It's in the toss, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. They can limit whatever they want. Does that mean we have to agree with it? No. But I guess the situation then is, do we make something, now we have to make something that competes with it. And maybe, that doesn't have that limitation.
Well, that's where this parlor came from, where the people who do want to be racist and sexist and all the fun stuff, they just go, well, I can go there and be real, whatever I want. I'm not saying that we need to have that, but I do worry that context and intelligent conversation is being, well, it does. Rules like this are making this.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know, man. It feels weird.
I think this feels like, I know it's a bit of a stretch, but kind of the whole Blockbuster versus Hollywood Video. I don't know Hebrew if you know what either of those are.
Block what?
But back in the day, like Blockbuster was the only game in town. So they could do outrageous things like require you to submit the blood of your firstborn in order to get an account. Mm-hmm. And then when you brought a movie back 5 seconds after it was due, they could charge you $100. But what that did was that caused a company like Hollywood Video to be created, and eventually led to Blockbuster's demise because they didn't want to change their policies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially because like simps built this platform. Like Twitch donations and like so many of the female species have rocketed into financial success because of simps, right? Yeah. So you have to acknowledge that these things exist. But what are we calling them now? What are we replacing this with? I'm assuming that beta cucks is not appropriate.
Close.
No, I mean, I think they can still be called simps. You just can't say you're a filthy simp.
Well, but that's the thing.
So many of the behavior of simps as well, with the whole like white knighting and like this sort of different kind of sexism as well. Some of that behavior is not healthy either, dude. But it's the word we're worried about. Please, like there's like cyber stalking. But, these are people that have been financially abused by people as well. Let's not, financial domination is something that some people go, yeah, I'm a financial domination expert. Like, I'll tell a guy I'm going to spend all his money while he jerks off to it. Realistically, Twitch is that without that label for a lot of people. Let's be very clear here. There are a lot of creators that are findoms that do not identify as such. So, anyway.
I mean, OnlyFans.
Speaking of Revenge of the Nerds,
rise of OnlyFans right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, Revenge of the Nerds is probably something that I'm guessing Hebrew, no idea, but Hooch, yeah.
Correct.
Nerds.
Correct. I have not seen it.
It was a massive movie in the 80s and had some big names back there as well. They are going to be rebooting this. We don't know when at this stage. It's relatively early. But Seth MacFarlane is going to be the one that's going to be heading everything up in terms of script, tone, and we don't know if he's directing or anything as yet. But either way, it's pretty exciting, dude.
Yeah, except his last like 2 movies was not very good.
Which two?
Something Ways to Die in the West.
A Million Days, yeah.
And then what was the one before that he did?
Ted 2.
Ted 2. Not great.
I think the problem with Seth MacFarlane movies is when I'm gonna say this, but then I'm just gonna be like, the Orville totally knocks this out. But when he has to act,
the Orville.
Sometimes it's rough. But the Orville was so good.
I'm 100% with you on that one.
Yeah, it was better than a lot of the recent Star Trek.
I think it is the true successor to the original Star Trek series. For sure.
In a lot of ways, yeah. Even he says that was inspiration for that.
Oh yeah.
With me, like the first episode of the Orville, I think they were trying to be too close to the traditional or typical Seth MacFarlane humor.
Yes,
and it wasn't hitting. When they toned that down and brought it in just sparingly, but then did a focus like you had. It had
the undertone, but it wasn't.
Yes, it's still still had that zany kind of goofy undertone, and there were some jokes in there. But then most of the episode was about like a specific thing. It really was one of my favorite shows to watch.
Same, yeah. I still watch out for it when the new seasons come. So
yeah. When is that supposed to be coming back anyway?
It is coming back. It did
got
get
hit with
renewed.
COVID delays.
But yeah, I got hit with COVID delays.
Well, what did?
It was originally supposed to be actually, I think, out in December, but it got pushed like a while ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's been a lot of stuff getting hit with delays because of like Rona and whatnot. I mean, we just saw this week that The Witches, it just came back from a Rona scare where they had to go into quarantine because there was people on set that got diagnosed. And then, they're still doing some filming at the moment of side casts, but Henry Cavill is out at the moment, pulled a hamstring.
And he's Superman.
Assault course. Yeah, I know.
So
that's a problem when you're carrying that level of muscle and probably doing sets where, he said it when they were doing the bathtub scene, the infamous one. Obviously, they wanted to pay homage to the game. He said that he did the bodybuilder style, dehydrate for 3 days type thing. So, you're going to cramp up and then you're going to go to an action sequence. Yeah, you'll blow out a hamstring.
Yeah, well, I had an argument with someone the other day. Not an argument, but like a discussion with someone the other day about like, females' bodies in movies versus men's bodies in movies. And I was like, honestly, like, no disrespect for either of them. I think either of them have to fucking keep really in shape. But I was like, the things that men have to do sometimes in movies for like action hero scenes and stuff can be pretty fucking intense. Like, and I quote that Witcher moment whenever he had to fucking dehydrate himself. For that bathtub scene. And I'm like, that's pretty difficult because they have to walk around with shirts off all the time.
But I think the difference is nobody, if a guy walks around and he's kind of pudgy, a la, Chris Pratt from the early Parks and Rec, then it's just like, oh, look at that pudgy guy. It's not the same as if, there's a woman who isn't in what's considered, model shape or peak conditioning or whatever. If she has a little bit of, thickness to her, everybody is like, oh, she's so fat. And the reality of it is
I'm going to go out here and disagree to an extent. Like, I understand that there is obviously some toxic perceptions of physical shape. But I will say this, is that when it comes to women, I think that there is always a guy out there that just goes, that woman is stunning.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
It doesn't matter how
Look at me for...
You cannot say the same thing about guys. Right? You might say that, like, it's not the same and women have a lot more pressure. I do think that a lot of that pressure comes from other women as well. Like, because honestly, you would look at someone and a woman and go, oh my God, she's disgusting. Look at her hair. And you, in the back of your mind, you're not going to say it to your wife, but you're going, I would, like, all day. Because I don't know. It's such a weird thing. I think a lot of women out there can be, I don't know, what would be considered, I guess, not LA average, but let's say mid-range, right? Whereas an average-looking guy is going to have a lot harder road to success than that woman in many ways for financial security. I honestly believe, because they have the option to use their body. Guys don't have that. And I say use their body in a variety of ways. You know what I mean? But yeah,
there was actually,
it's a weird thing.
Interestingly enough, there was just an article that I didn't go in and read it, but now I wish I did. But at least the tagline for it was, I'm trying to search for it now, but women overestimate, or it was found that women overestimate the interest that men have in model thin women.
Oh, 100%. For me, there's something in my brain that just goes, I'm worried about her potassium levels. I'm worried that this young lady's going to have an early heart attack because being that thin. And that in itself, I know is, unintentional body shaming for like they're too thin. Mm-hmm. But I will take a curvy lady over a stick figure any day of the week. That's my personal preference.
Ditto.
And
Ditto.
you want to talk about, now this is a statistic that's getting worse and worse, actually. Now, I'm not trying to make this like men have it so difficult, but this is just a reality. Dating apps, dude. Like men, period, in dating apps have it so much worse than women do in dating apps, because men will throw themselves at basically anything, and women are not that way. So it's
I mentioned
much
before that I met my wife through internet dating because I used to travel a lot.
Too.
Tinder wasn't a thing back then. And I remember even back then, and I've seen Tinder profiles now, before I even read the paragraph on the woman, I would go right to the bottom, because that became the expectation of, this is where women feel that outright they can put their butts on paper. Now, I say butts as in, you can hit me up, but if you're under 5'9", forget about it.
Oh,
if you are bald, fuck off. If you are, in some cases, they would say race. If you are race XYZ, don't even think about approaching me. And we would go, all right, moving on to the next one. But if you had on your profile, no chicks over 75 kilos, or no chicks under 6'2", you would be painted as a misogynistic piece of shit. There definitely is a double standard.
Yeah.
In many ways it works against women, but you have to acknowledge there are some that works against guys, because you can't say, I wouldn't sleep with that person because I find them unattractive because of weight, age, size, whatever, without being accused of sexism, misogyny, whatever. Mm-hmm. But a woman can say, I don't do bald guys, or I don't sleep with white guys because you've all got tiny penises. Like even cock size, like I won't date a guy underneath 6 inches. If you said I'm not going to date a chick that's less than a B cup, you're a piece of shit. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, there is these conversations that there is double standards. And again, I will say that sexism is definitely more aggressively oppressive towards women, but you have to acknowledge there are some areas where they can benefit from it, and it's harder for us. Like, it's not a race of who's got it worse, but there's definitely both sides.
It's just the existence of it. Yeah.
And it's okay to acknowledge the existence without demeaning the other side of the argument, guys.
Exactly.
For fuck's sake. All right.
Real quick though, I mean, another thing though is, because there's so much being more like outspoken about women's bodies, they have their own internal struggles as well.
Of course.
And I think being a man, obviously I have my own insecurities, but I don't know if it comes so much from like societal pressure and people of my own gender like making me feel that way, or it's just me looking in a mirror going, I don't really like that.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that there is national run Love Your Body campaigns for women. Where's the Love Your Body campaign for men? I wouldn't get much traction.
It's not gonna happen.
It's just so funny.
But, because that's that same thing I brought up. Like we're not as, the first thing people look at and see for a man is not what do they look like, what is their body shape. Mm-hmm. Whereas
in 2020. I don't know. I think millennials are redefining that.
Get the dad bod. Yeah. But I mean, traditionally it wasn't,
you're right.
Wow, she's this, and it's, people look at a guy unless he's an extreme one or the other. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think that's the difference. Like where you still have women that are extreme on either side of the spectrum. But even within that, somebody who is an average person is called fat. And people are like, wait, how is this person fat? She's perfect. She's fine. She's a normal woman. Yeah. And because of that thing, everybody's like, oh yeah, no, she's fat. Like, what? And it's a personal preference as to whether or not you like someone's body shape. But I think because we add so much negativity to it.
There is something to be said about it too. Like, I mean, because there's obviously what's societally used as the word fat, and then there's obviously clinical definitions, because there are some versions of body promoting being unhealthy that I really don't like. Like, I don't think we should celebrate the hyper obese. And I say this as someone who is currently hyper obese. I would not recommend anyone follow the lifestyle that I have over the last 5 years. Don't do it, right? Because it's unhealthy and can affect your health in the long run. No one should say, hey, Chew, you're beautiful just the way you are. You can go, I appreciate the sentiment and you're being very kind, but honestly, I am, headed towards bad things. And then on the flip side, if I was purging on the daily and I had bulimia or anorexia or another eating disorder, that shouldn't be something that's promoted, celebrated, or deemed to be, healthy or normal either. And I don't know why we can't say those things anymore, because they say, well, you're going to damage people's psyche by saying what you are is potentially unhealthy, but you have to protect those people, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Including myself. Yeah. I don't want you to blow smoke up my ass. Just say, hey, bro, go for a run. Go for a roll. Whatever gets you out the door. All right. Bad news this week. Boba Fett, who we're going to talk about a lot in the Mandalorian episode this week. We are going to do a full breakdown of that very story. But unfortunately, the original actor has passed away this week. Jeremy Bulloch dies at age 75.
Yeah, that is too bad. Another one bites the dust.
Just before the episode of The Rise of Boba kind of happened too, right?
Well, wait, what?
Yeah. So the problem is we're getting to that point where the original actors in the Star Wars films are, they're hitting their 70s and 80s now because, that was...
I saw a clip the other day where it showed like all the actors from the original that were still alive. It's just Hamill and Ford.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That's not surprising.
You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, Fisher should obviously be there, but
yeah,
I'm not surprised because, well, wait a minute. What about James?
Oh yeah, James Earl Jones.
Oh, he's voice actor. Yeah, okay,
and that counts
for him.
Well, he is an actor. Yeah.
For him, that definitely counts.
Yeah, that totally counts.
Truth.
Crazy.
Wait a minute, did we lose Ian McDermott?
I feel like one of those names was this year. I know Mayhew died, didn't he?
Yeah. But didn't he? Oh, that sucks, dude. I mean, he was the emperor, but that doesn't suck too bad.
He did or not.
Google can't answer this for us.
Yeah, I think he is actually still alive now that you say that. But was he the original Palpatine?
So now,
I always forget.
I don't believe he was the original Palpatine. I don't think he came out until...
I think the original one did pass. I'm saying this out of my ass, though. Do you know what? Google for yourselves if you're interested. That's where we're at on that one. Suicide Squad, what?
Billy D. Williams.
Oh, yeah, Billy D. He wasn't in the original, though. Was he?
No. So you're just talking about Star Wars. Just Star Wars, A New Hope. Okay.
Yeah. All right, well, if we're going to go through, did people still live from fucking all the ones that came afterwards? Of course they did. We're talking about the original movie. All right, Suicide Squad's TV spin-off is getting even more of a cast, more writers, more news. This is looking like a hell of a big production. Like, when they said they were going to make Peacemaker, which is obviously all centered around the douchey Captain America that is John Cena in this role. I thought it was going to be like maybe just a small side thing, but they are investing a lot in this. And obviously being a big feature on HBO Max as well, maybe they're trying to build something around this. Like what if we start seeing their version of, a universe built around this? It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I could see them getting... I mean, this could very much be a Mandalorian for them. So...
Well, don't forget, though, actually, the WB already did a really great job at creating a universe on the CW with the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
So...
Would you quantify that as a good job?
Yes, I would. Shut it.
I mean...
Yes and no.
I think The Flash was the only... okay one of the bunch, and even that is getting very tiresome.
90% of The Flash is okay.
See, the first couple of seasons of Arrow I actually liked, and I love turning my brain off and watching Legends of Tomorrow.
I could not
it's just goofy.
One.
Yeah, I love Constantine.
The first season,
even I bounced off like around when he came back in. I do need to go back and check it out.
Yeah, the first season of Legends was terrible. I'll admit that.
It
that
was
not good. But when they finally just settled into, we're just a goofy bunch.
Yeah.
They're the DC version of Guardians of the Galaxy, apparently.
No, they're like the season 3 onwards of Community, where they just didn't give a fuck. They were just writing things for themselves at that point.
Yeah. I'm sorry. The end of season, was it 3 or 4, with the freaking giant Bebo fighting the damn demon. That was
Yeah.
pinnacle hilarity.
Yeah. It was pretty weird.
I'm
I
glad
don't
they're
know.
doing it though. With John Cena in the spot, like I am very, very, very excited to see him spew out his acting chops in a role like this and see what we get. Obviously, there's confidence behind that on his end. Otherwise, I don't think that they would be doing this right now.
Well, the
didn't
thing
like
that
John
I
Cena in
cannot
Ferdinand?
believe is true is that James Gunn is writing and directing all this for the TV series.
Yeah, I mean, he was the one that was just like, if I remember this correctly, on set, he was like, "Holy shit, I just love John Cena playing this character so much, I have to make a TV show about it." Like,
Yeah.
and that was all like spearheaded by him 100%. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It makes me very excited because yeah, I have confidence in him obviously as a director. So if he thinks something's good enough that he's going to dedicate his time to a TV show for it, sure, by all means.
Yeah,
let's
because
do
it kind of seems like a diet Homelander sort of character. Like
Yeah.
they're just kind of, he's douchey and like he has a lot of the same beats, I think, but obviously not the murderous psychopath that we saw in Homelander, especially
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
season 2.
Yeah, Homelander is douchey and psychopathic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's exciting. I really love the fact that we're seeing so much of this month of people planning out and expanding on these just awesome nerd universes through TV series, because movies only do so much, and you don't want them to skip over big beats. Then you see some where it's just like, yeah, we're going to put this out just to keep the show going. So there's going to be a new Marvel style clip show, which is called Marvel Legends, and this is very much about revisiting the Infinity Saga, where they're going to go through and talk about some of the characters and their big moments that they had throughout the Infinity or phase. Was it phase 1 and 2, or was it phase 1, 2, 3 that we're finished?
1, 2, and 3 are finished because 4 are starting next.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Is it fully finished with 3, or are we coming towards the end of 3 now? Did 3
No,
end with
three's done.
Spider-Man?
3 finished with Thanos.
Yeah, 3 ended with Far From Home.
Oh, was that? Oh, yeah, because
Yes.
that was set right after.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Man, who knows how many actors are going to be in that Spider-Man sequel with the way that's going. But so this clip show, I think it'd be like fun if you just want to sort of like remember some of the cool moments that, a certain character had. But I think it's going to be good, like soft entry nerd lore. I think that's what this is really disguised as. Just like, let's tell you a little bit about Scarlet Witch before she goes into a movie and is overpowered and you don't understand why.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be
It's like
giving you the
a
Diet
member
Coke
berry.
version of all the comics that we read. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool.
It's kind of, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a prep show. It's just going to
Yeah.
prep you for the movie. So yeah, I'm down for that. Yeah. Why
For
not?
sure.
I mean, all of this comic book stuff that are coming on all these streaming, just the TV shows that we've got coming. It's amazing. It's kind of scary a little bit too, because it's like, how well are they going to do? I think they're going to do really well, but it's awesome. Mostly it's just awesome.
Well, they could be Mandalorian or they could be Hellstrom. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty wide spectrum. Because that show got, as expected, just canned and gone. I mean, the acting, the scripting, the just the way it was shot, everything about it was just crap. And so I'm not surprised that they're not going to get the second season to actually do the cool shit that they should have done in the goddamn first season.
Most
shows need to stop assuming they got a guaranteed built-in second season because they have a license. It's not. You still have to make quality. And it's so funny how you get all these big Hollywood guys for years, like the Scorsese and that, coming out going, this is destroying cinema. And they're saying, it's all shit. And, people will just pay money to watch garbage. No, they won't. If we see love and attention, like put in a world that we love and have paid attention to, we'll support the shit out of it. And we will watch it. But you release a dog shit version of something we love, it'll die. Because it's not good. It still has to be good.
I think
Yes,
that there's
absolutely.
I honestly think there's more competition now on streaming services to ensure that something's good in order to be like forced to continue, or I mean allowed to continue rather, because I think that the barrier to entry is honestly easier in streaming to get a show for some reason than it is on like a fucking nightmare to get a show on an actual cable TV network.
On a main network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then, if fans attach themselves to a show, for the most part, there are some exceptions, that show will continue forward. So if you just make a shit show, just because you're on a prime time on TV, that's not going to last anymore, because here we can pick and choose on streaming services.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely tougher on streaming services. Like, you have to
There's
actually
also a lot of
be good.
rules. There's a lot of rules you have to follow in order to get on a main network show or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, cable TV and streaming services, you don't have those limitations.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
And,
mainstream
they're willing to
has
take a
never
chance.
been closer to dying, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, and whose dick do you have to suck to get in there?
Yeah.
What's his face?
Weinstein?
Yeah, Weinstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Ew.
that these things are key.
That's a guy you just look at and just know his foreskin smells like a French cheese shop. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Oh,
just
Jesus.
fucking
Christ.
gross. Yeah, man. Now, this week, I saw a clip and I do not know how to feel about it. There is a very strong reported rumor that they're going to reboot and remake Firefly.
Really?
Yeah.
Couldn't have come at a better time.
I want to see this universe build and thrive, but when they say reboot, bro, if you said, we can pretend that Serenity didn't happen, okay, maybe I'm with you, even though I like that movie. But to undo the universe that started with Captain Mel and the actors that are all still alive in real life, I don't know. Like, I don't know who could play that role that's not Nathan Fillion and me not go, it's not Nathan Fillion, though.
I think I wouldn't mind seeing a show in the Firefly universe.
Yes.
And maybe if that's what they mean by reboot, they're going to call it Firefly, but it won't be the same characters.
But I feel like that's not a reboot.
No, it's not. But, well, I mean, hold on. The Seth MacFarlane Revenge of the Nerds is a reboot, but not the same characters.
Is it not?
Well, it could be. We don't know. We don't have that information
Well, yeah.
yet.
I
As
think
in not
what
the
they're
original
calling
actors, you mean?
Well, not the original characters, not the original actors, original characters.
I think a reboot typically, at least you're right, it might not be a guarantee, but I think it insinuates that it's like, replacing, not going along with.
Well, wasn't Saved by the Bell just rebooted? Or did we
I mean,
call
you
that
want to use
Saved
that
by
as
the
the
Bell.
shining
Yeah, about to
example
say.
of how they're going to
No,
save
no, no,
things?
no, no.
Fuck it.
Destroying things.
I'm bringing it up because the characters are different. They're not the same characters. Now, granted, the original characters have a presence, but they're not.
But that's not a
Yes, that's
reboot.
an
That's a
expansion.
continuation.
If you
An expansion, yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're clear on what a technical reboot actually is.
Yeah,
and, what our
and that's a good
expectations
point.
are.
Like, and that's what we don't know. And I
Yeah.
guess how I feel about this, I need to wait and see for myself personally, because
Yeah.
I'm so in love with what they did, and we all wanted more of exactly that. To reboot, I mean, Stargate Universe was a good example of when you try and reimagine and leave a lot of the cool shit behind that people fell in love with, it can die, right? And that's what happened with Stargate Universe, is that SG-1 was amazing, Atlantis was very good, and then Universe was just like, we're going to make it into a sort of detective-y thriller mystery kind of thing, and then Stargates are there as well, and we're on a spaceship. It's like, okay, yeah. They let a lot of what was really important about those things go, like a big existential galactic level threat that perhaps we didn't know what we could deal with. Because Stargate, the more powerful humans became, the more you sort of went, that's cool, it's just like a space thriller now, it's okay. But it was truly in the early days when a new threat came out, like the Goa'uld, where it was literally people out there with guns trying to figure it out in worlds they had no idea what they were doing out there, was a lot of the charm. And that's a lot of the charm of Firefly is exactly that. Them going planet to planet, job to job, not really having a long-term plan, but just kind of surviving in a galaxy that they didn't plan for because they lost a war to this galactic presence. There's a lot of stories you could tell in this universe that would be really exciting to do. One being going back to the war itself. I'd love to see a spin-off series there. That'd be awesome. I would love to see a post-Serenity world where you basically find out how the universe reacts to these overlords, and you find out, actually I can't say that because Hebrew is catching up, isn't he?
Yeah, you can't tell what's going. You can't say what's going
Shit.
on. You said the events of Serenity, and I'm like,
Yeah. So after the events of Serenity, I think seeing how the galaxy reacts would be awesome to see as well. So when they said it, I think for a reboot, it's going to be quite important as well. But and then not keep tweaking it too much. Like, I think reboots, they kind of feel like they need to put their own flavor on it. So I'm probably more trepidatious than really, really pumped about that announcement.
That's why I think messing around with something that has such a big cult following that already feels cheated is dangerous. Like, because that's all that they have left, and then you could be like trouncing on that. So,
but then as fans, it's like we kind of have to we kind of have to fake the orgasm, if you will, because even if they release it and it's not everything we wanted, you don't want to shit on it too hard, because then you give like the old Fox execs going, see, this is why we didn't do it, because they wouldn't appreciate what we would have given more of anyway. We told you it was a failed project, blah, blah, blah. And you don't want to do that. You want to say, hey, look, you gave us more of the thing that we love. Thank you. Please make it better for
So
season
hopefully we don't get the Hellstrom Firefly.
2. Was anyone asking for Hellstrom?
No. That's true.
Well, you can take my love, you can take my land, take me where I cannot stand, but just don't take the show from me.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well said.
Poetry.
Well said. And then last of the nerdy news, Lock and Key. I still haven't got around to watching this. Have either of you two?
No.
Okay. Anyway, it's a comic license renewed for season 3. So if you're a Lock and Key fan, great news for you. You get more of that.
Congratulations.
While we get
Tell
more
me if it's
Firefly.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's on my list of like those Marvel kind of side shows to watch. Even a lot of ones that got canceled. But yeah, I'll check it out at some point. All right, gaming news, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, Stadia is still trying. They are. So they're now moving into the next phase, which is iOS. So they're running a beta right now in the US where you can basically run Stadia through the Apple Store, which I have heard a few people say that they have, Hooch, streamed games just via their iPad and a controller. And it's actually been all right, that the Apple platform seems to be one of the more stable ones.
Well,
So what I'm saying is, get your iPad with your dead battery out from Immortal and play some Stadia.
I would not give up any playtime on that game right now.
I know, I wouldn't either. I'm just
played
trying
to your
to
heart's
take
content.
away something from him that I don't get to have, so I'm jealous. Yeah. Didn't you have a moment like that as well this week? You were saying, Hooch, that like we're all like, fuck you, because you got to play this beta, but then someone was playing Back for Blood beta, and you were like, you bastard.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, this is how selfish I am. I'm looking at it going, yeah, I'm in the Diablo Immortal Alpha, but I see that people are playing Back for Blood, and I'm like, I want to get into that.
Yeah.
It's mostly because it's
If
being
I get
developed by
into the Back for Blood beta, can we swap?
I was about to say, I would take Diablo Immortal over Back for Blood, and
I would have those
I did
two, yeah.
love Left 4 Dead, but
So here's the funny thing. I actually had an email that I hadn't seen the other day.
God, you can
that
get
was
that
an
right
invitation
off, dude.
into the Back for Blood beta. Okay, because I work for the company that's developing the damn thing, so I should be having. It's like, come on, let me in.
You can't
let me
have
in.
both.
He's one of those guys, Hebrew, that was like, yeah, I had this threesome. It was okay, I guess. Like, it wasn't the greatest threesome I ever had. While the rest of it is like, dude, the worst threesome in the world is still awesome in concept, right?
You guys are gonna hate me next year because
Well, how many threesomes are you planning?
Yes, a lot.
So many
we've got,
threesomes.
We've got Gotham Knights. We've got Suicide
Yeah,
Squad.
fuck, I
we've
forgot
got,
about your connections
We've
here.
got Lego, the Skywalker Saga, and
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter Legend.
I think Warner does win next year. I mean, if those games even come out about 80% of their potential, there's so much there.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about 2021. In fact, next week's episode, or whenever we do the last episode of 2020, I want to have a look at the biggest forecasted releases of 2021, because I was going through this list the other day. Boys, like, you thought there was a lot to be excited about in 2020 for games? Jesus H. Christ. That and TV shows, because everything that should have come out this year, like, I don't even know what that schedule looks like. It feels like we're just going to be not podcasting anymore, but live streaming, because of there's so much to cover next year that we have to be on the whole time. It's awesome. It really is.
I remember the end of 2019 and the beginning of 2020. I was looking at the slate of movies that were coming out.
Yeah.
And I was saying, I'm going to be in the movie theater literally every month for at least 2 movies. And unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way. But
now
this
it's like,
year
will
was
I ever
going
go
to
back
be
to a
insane.
cinema ever again?
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah. I used to go once a week to the movies with my dad, and now that I don't have that, like, I can't wait to just watch it at home with them instead or something.
Yeah,
Like, so I'm down for
sure.
it.
Did you go twice if it was in a George Clooney movie?
Well, we went 3 times if it was a George Clooney movie.
Okay, just wanted to be sure.
Yeah, and then George Clooney drove home with me. So.
All right, and then your dad was outside signing autographs.
Yeah,
at the end.
basically.
And that's how he had his first reason. Now, speaking of things being delayed, the EA Play tie-in for the Game Pass, which is where the sort of medium tier subscription that you got from EA to be able to play all their games on launch, was going to be brought over to Game Pass. That was supposed to have been live this week. That is not going to happen. It is now not going to happen until probably Q2 next year. So all those free EA games you're not going to pick up until then. In saying that, that agreement doesn't include any new EA games anyway. So it's more so their back catalog. And there is a lot of things to love in there, like Jedi Fallen Order and things like that. But this is probably the first year in a while that I'm looking at EA's slate for next year and going, I can't think of anything massive they got coming out next year. At the moment, I'm sure I'm wrong. Someone's probably screaming at their microphone now going, what about this?
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything either.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What's on there? Here we go. Let's have a look at their coming soon. So they're just revisiting old stuff, like the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. We know they're working on that. Right. Oh, actually, It Takes Two is them, Hebrew. I didn't realize they were publishers.
That's right. Yes. Okay. Yeah. It Takes Two.
I didn't realize they were the publisher. I thought I knew it's a new studio, but there you go. Okay. Yeah. They've been not ruining that.
They're definitely going to have that because I'm going to play the shit out of that. Yeah.
And then something called Lost in Random. They're literally the only 3 things they have slated for upcoming, which is weird for them. Everything else is going to be just continuation.
So right, yeah. Comparatively, yeah, exactly. Comparatively to a normal year, that's not a lot at all. So
yeah, unless you're into sports games.
I think 2022 is probably where you're going to see, because 2022 is probably where you're going to see the new Mass Effect, the next Dragon Age.
Oh man, so how is Dragon Age not even on this list? That just goes to show that game is so barely started. I reckon they completely abandoned like BioWare development, like with investment. Like, it seems like everything's just gone into their sports games and shooters.
Yeah,
which sucks because that purchase of BioWare was so promising.
Well, how many studios? I mean, that's why they're infamous, right? How many studios did they fuck in this climb?
Exactly.
And we also have potentially the next victim too. They just bought for, I think it's 1.2 billion, Codemasters, who are more so known for their racing games. But yeah, they bought them for around 1.2 billion. What did they have? What game did they have? Hooch, what was their big things?
Codemasters?
I feel like I remember Codemasters names on a lot of games, but you asked me, Dirt, of course, yeah.
I'm trying to remember what else.
It's mainly car games. That much I do know. Like, they're just trying to own the world there with, like, obviously it's Need for Speed. They now own just about everything else, which only leaves Gran Turismo and Forza as the only sort of independent studios left, or titles that are still separate.
Which sucks because we saw what they did when they had exclusivity for the NFL license in Madden. I know you guys don't play sports games, but many people who do consider that to be the downfall of
Dude, I used to play sports
once
games.
There was no competition. Yeah, once there was no competition and EA didn't have to worry about Sega breathing down their necks, they basically started phoning it in with Madden, and people felt that Madden just hasn't been the same as it was.
That's 100% true.
Push. Yeah,
and that's part of the problem.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember back in the day on the Sega Genesis, we were playing the hell out of Madden. I mean, that was just all we would do. It was just Madden. Funny story about that though is I was always known as the person you don't play. I think I may have said this all before, but yeah, I'm the person you don't play when the phone rings. Because when the phone rings, I'll turn my game. I'll just start running the score up. Because if I'm not paying attention, I go into just unconscious mode and start winning.
That's when you start winning, when you're not paying attention.
Oh yeah, there were times where I'd be down by 3 touchdowns in the third quarter. I'd get a phone call, so I talk on the phone, then I wind up winning the game.
Damn. So the key for you is to be distracted.
Yes, basically.
Damn. Well played.
Now, Hebrew,
good gamer right there.
This is massive news for you this week. I can't tell you how excited you should be by this. The lead writer who worked on the Dishonored games and Control. Neither of you two have played that game yet, have you? Control?
Not Control, but I played Dishonored 1 and 2.
When it comes out on the PS5, so you can play it with the new spec'd up version, please play that game. Control was
Control?
just a silent sleeper hit. Or honestly, actually, it's on Game Pass, I think, still. So maybe check it out there if it is.
Really?
I think so.
Okay.
I know it moved there for a while. I don't think the new content, because there's an Alan Wake crossover as well in the DLC, which I haven't played yet. But it's a really, really good game. Like, it's scripted really well, voice acted really well. The gameplay is surprisingly like fun. Like, I didn't expect much out of that combat system when I first went in there. And then I left wanting so much more of that game. The only thing I got pissed off at is, it cost me a copyright strike. But because of music in one of the coolest sequences of the game. But anyway,
Right.
Awesome game. So the lead writer of that is now being poached by Microsoft, and she is going to head up the writing team for the new Fable game.
Yes. So for this, I could not be more excited because Fable is probably my favorite series of all time for video games. So yeah, I am super pumped about this. Obviously,
Well, which
I
one
love
of
Dishonored
these
series
gets you more erect, right? Because this is very much a Hebrew news week. You have Dishonored, Diablo Immortal, and the announcement that League of Legends Riot is working on an MMO.
because I mean, it has to be the MMO for League of Legends. I mean, actually, hands down, it's not competition. But like, if it would have been the announcement of Fable, the new Fable, then you'd have some competition. But
Sure.
A really good writer, I'm glad, but that's not going to be winning over League of Legends MMO. So, and Diablo Immortal, I'm glad about, but Fable and LOL mean more to me than Diablo does, I think, and that's saying a lot. It still means a shit ton to me, but not as much as those games.
I have been itching for an MMO for a long while now, and it's usually the thing that once a year pulls me back into WoW for a couple of weeks to a month, because I miss that experience of vanilla WoW, BC WoW, the Old Republic for the first opening and the expansion, even things like WildStar, like those moments, those stories with friends. Just all of it. Like, there's something about a really good MMO when you're playing cohesively with a small group of friends.
Yeah.
There's not much like it for me. I know MMO is not everyone's flavor,
same.
but for me, it's my thing. Plus, you guys know the way I attack video games.
Yes.
It's a game that doesn't end.
It's hard to
right?
keep up
It kind
with.
of suits me. So I love them. And there just hasn't been that thing that has captured me in a way that those did for such a long time. And look, I know that Elder Scrolls Online is a wonderful MMO. I think I've maxed characters out in 3 expansions now. Final Fantasy, the universe is just so not my thing historically that I found it really hard to get into that MMO, although the gameplay was great. That, I've got this itch. And if the world that they have for League, if they really get the characters right, this thing could be monstrous. And with how they're already wanting to take over the world, this thing is going to be cross-platform. It's going to be cross-play, cross-save, probably on mobile as well. The potential for this game is probably unlike any other MMO I could think of in the world right now.
Yeah, I mean, League of Legends, consistently always has like the most popularity and everything. Like over time, has always basically won out. There's things that might temporarily spike over it, but League of Legends always wins at the end of the day. And let me tell you, that world is fucking rich with great storytelling. Originally, whenever the game, if there's some people rolling their eyes right now, it's only because whenever the game initially launched, it was, because they didn't know if it was going to be successful, and the lore was very much a background to just like a reason to be in there, a light reason for why the game exists. But they started revamping it, I think, like probably about 5 years in is whenever they started. And since then, it is just as they've rewritten all the characters and they fit them all into this really amazing world that's super deep and has so many different, like, cool and interesting factions that they can pull from and stuff. I'm super excited about this. And I want it to play out basically how our AOR pod was going for a bit, where it's basically like, you create your own character from, different parts of the world, different factions and things like that, because that's easily pluggable here in League. And
For sure.
and then you meet these fucking amazing characters that they have, because they've so many awesome, influential characters in the game. I can't wait to be a part of that. So, and with the, such a humongous player base that's always been itching for a LoL MMO. Truly, I think for the first time, watch out World of Warcraft, because
here's the thing though, what does that game look like? Do you make it so that all the playable characters are the playable characters from the game, which means that you're going to have 1,000 of whatever character? Or do you make it that it's in that world and the NPCs like Warcraft, that the NPCs that you know and love are there and you interact with, and you are random Johnny X with superpowers?
I think that Project F, which is a project that they've already announced that they've been very tight-lipped on, but they already released some gameplay footage of, that is going to be you playing the characters in a kind of top-down Diablo style.
Oh, yep.
This game, I cannot imagine that being the case. This is a chance for them to really spread their legs, and there is so much ability there because there's so many different factions and races for you to be a part of. It would be crazy to play it the other way, where you have to pick a character that's already exists and do that. That would be the wrong way to play this, and they're known for making the right moves. So I would bet huge amounts of money that it will be you create a character and you meet the characters from the game throughout the story. So yeah,
I'd probably prefer to see it that way too. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
So how mad would you be if, when they actually went into alpha, if I was able to get into that?
I would literally it would either, I would first beg you, and I would do literally anything you wanted for me.
He's gonna end up moving in with you at this point. If you,
I'll do anything. I mean, I'll do anything for it. Truly.
One of the things about working in the gaming industry is you know a lot of people in a lot of different places, and it's become...
If you get access to it and you don't give me access to it, I'm finding your house and I'm literally going to break in and then play it at night and watch you during the day.
Because I know someone who just started working at Riot, or is going to start working at Riot soon.
Yeah. So you need to talk to him about me, and we need to...
What I'm hearing is we just need to actually, make some good content, become famous on YouTube, and then we can get these opportunities ourselves. There
you go.
Maybe if we weren't so shit, we would have had this already.
That's also true.
Yeah.
But I'm to the point where I will incept this guy's life, this friend of yours. I will incept his
start
life.
It now.
Make him become... Yeah, exactly.
Just start posting on his Twitter page daily, just holding up a cardboard sign. Day one is "We'll suck dick for League of Legends MMO."
No. This is
you can
hard.
make this a meme. You could be that guy.
No. This is deep. I'm finding out who he is. I'm going to go find him. I'm going to run into him, quote unquote, at the grocery store. We're going to become best friends.
Yeah. Then there's posting videos on his Twitter. Remember that time that he got broken up with by Stacy in grade 10? Do you remember how much that hurt? Well, it wouldn't hurt as much as me not getting into this alpha. Get on it. Yeah.
I will assume his identity and become him if I need to in order to play that game.
Of the lands. What's that? Talented Mr. Ripley, that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a fun check. Have you seen Talented Mr. Ripley?
I have not.
Bruh. Great movie. All right. Last bit of nerdy news or video game news for the week is... Vin Diesel is back in the world as a game developer. He is going to be the executive producer for Arc 2. It looks like he apparently was. I always knew that he was a nerdy and into games, but apparently he actually is one of the people that put more than 1,000 hours into Arc, the first one.
That is, that's great. I love to hear it whenever celebrities are open about their gaming lives. Mm-hmm. But it's such a weird, it's kind of a weird move to put yourself into the game.
Well, he is the president of Creative Convergence at Wildcard Studios, whatever that role means.
I think that means he flashed them cash and they were like, yeah, what title do you want? And he's like,
well, given the definition of convergence, isn't that the president of coming together?
Yeah, that is the case.
Yeah. Okay.
I just hope this goes better for Vin than it did for Kurt Schilling in 38 Studios.
Now, in saying that, do not forget that he is one of the reasons that we got Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay, one of the most underrated games of that entire generation.
Neither
of you played it, have you?
I've never played it.
Bruh. So
I wasn't
Were you into the
I was
Riddick
a huge
movies?
Riddick fan. Not a huge fan of the Riddick movies.
Okay. It's how is the opposite. Pitch Black for me is just one of those movies that even though it's so low budget, it was so damn good. And that character is exceptional. But the best part of that character, the best story they ever told about Riddick was in the Xbox game Escape from Butcher Bay, which was founded in 2002 at Tygon Studios by none other than Vin Diesel. He made that studio. Yeah. Now they also made games called Wheelman and Fast and the Furious Crossroads. I barely remember Fast and the Furious Crossroads, and it was super meh. But Escape from Butcher Bay is a wonderful game. If you love Riddick, it's an exceptional game because he voice acted the entire thing as well.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I
and
mean,
some of the actors from the first movie, he got them on board too to do like reprise their role, like the cop / dirty bounty hunter kind of guy. He was in it as well. I can never remember that actor's name. It was really good, man. Really, really good. So I'm not saying that Arc 2 is going to be exceptional just because of the history of that game, because he's batting 1 for 3, in my opinion, for video games that he produced that were good. And this will be interesting to see whether it can go 2 and 4.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
in baseball,
he's a cool dude, so I'm at the very least. So like I'll give it a shot for sure. He deserves a shot.
a 300 average in baseball is good. So
Yeah, it's just that particular genre. It's just not my thing. Like I said, I want realism in video games up until a point. Like, if I can virtually drive a car and fly a plane and go to a strip club and, make millions of dollars, sure. But if it's about you need to eat today, you need to drink or you're going to die in the next 15 minutes, I don't need that. Come on now.
Yeah. I don't want to have to take a shit in the game.
Unless it's like, a bird game where you can like take bird form and take vengeance by shitting on the windscreen of people's cars. I'd be down.
nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
We
All
rather
right.
shit on the games.
Let's take a couple of questions because we actually had some submitted by the Patreons this week. So Mapluddy asks, wants to get my kid a Nintendo Switch. Sorry, he's 2 kids. What are your favorite games and accessories for the Nintendo Switch?
Oh boy, favorite games and accessories. Honestly, I guess I'm not too much help here because I haven't played too much Switch this year.
Well, I think for kids too. Like, Mario Kart, hands down. Like, that
Yeah,
has to be
for
a feature.
sure.
Yeah.
Mario
Smash Brothers
Party,
is just
Mario
exceptional.
Party,
Mario
Smash
Party's pretty good
Brothers.
now. Yep.
So those games, as far as accessories, I don't even know what. I mean, besides the Mario Kart
I will
wheel.
say, I think Labo was kind of a failed experiment. I think the Mario Kart wheels aren't that great. I think you're better off staying at. I mean, the new Mario Kart thing where you can like build the track in your house and then the kids can race around it. I've heard it actually is very, very good in the way it runs. I don't know if it's worth the expense, but being able to get your kids to use their imagination to design a racetrack in your house and then play on it, there's something pretty rad about that. What's it called? Mario Kart Live?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but here you go. I've got some suggestions. I have been told that the best game to get for the Switch is Animal Crossing. I don't agree,
of course, yeah.
but
There's 2
No,
kids
but
though.
it's-
Like, you can't play that shit together.
no. So one of the things that, since I have 2 kids who young kids and they play on the Switch, my kids have loved Smash. They've also loved the tennis, even though it's a little harder. They still like it. They also like Mario Kart as well. We've done things like Overcooked, Moving Out.
Nice.
They really enjoyed the Untitled Goose Game now that it has multiplayer.
Right.
They had fun with that. As far as accessories go, the number one accessory I'd recommend is a second Switch.
Because that's so easy for everyone to get.
That would be the one thing I would suggest. In my house especially, there's a reason why we have 4 Nintendo Switches.
I guess also
one broke, so
the new Pokemon game.
Oh yeah, good point.
That's a good one to get. And I think
Yeah.
they have, if I remember correctly, they have the Pokemon they have like a Pokemon add-on accessory as well. It's like a Pokeball
yeah, I wouldn't
with
recommend
a Pokemon
that.
that you level up. No?
Yeah, so there's 2 different Pokemons of the Switch generation. There is Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu. They're the ones where it plays more like Pokemon Go, and you actually like pretend to throw a ball at the screen. It's fun for kids, but I mean, you can do that with a controller. You don't need the little Pokeball.
Plus, that
But the
sounds
Pokeball
dangerous for your
had some
TV.
synergies. Yeah, it has a little don't throw off the wrist type thing, but we saw the Wii and broken TVs
if
as a
kids
meme
are
for a
playing
long
with
time.
Yeah, if kids are playing with the Pokeball where they see it on TV as they throw it, I feel like
Well, not just that, but like
dangerous.
Pokeball and Cheeto fingers. Like
Yeah,
kids have
yeah.
a real condition with Cheeto fingers, bro. Yeah. I will say that if you want to keep your kids a little bit active as well, the Ring Fit Adventure is a really, really fun game and actually does give you a pretty decent workout, whether you're a kid, adult, or whatever. It's actually really fun. Like you're fighting dragons and shit while doing squats and overhead holds and in a way that makes you forget a little bit about the fact you're actually doing exercise. So I actually recommend that if you want an accessory game.
My kids have actually gotten a lot of exercise by playing ARMS.
Oh, yeah. It's a shame that they didn't really put the support into that I thought they were going to. It kind of didn't launch the way they wanted, and they went, meh, it is what it is now.
Yeah.
Again, as well, depending on, I don't know if you've got boys or girls, or not that it matters, but Just Dance is pretty well optimized for the Switch as well. But the only thing you find with that, you'll end up buying it probably on the cheap, but the songs that come with it are pretty average. You'll end up having to get like a sub where it's like $5 a month and you unlock like every song they've ever done for Just Dance, which if they're really into it, it's actually a really cheap way of keeping them entertained for months because the songs just keep on going and going and going and going. So
I want to steal a little bit from the show notes, but Among Us is another one.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I actually haven't got to that point yet, but we can talk about it now. So, yeah, Among Us just got released on the Switch now as well, and it will feature full crossplay. So that's probably not a bad one, because you could multiplay that where one kid could be on the Switch and the other kid could be on their phone, and they can play together. So that's actually a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. McFly asked the question, what is your favorite Jon Favreau movie?
I need to look up a list of his movies.
The last episode of Mandalorian.
No, movies. We're going to talk about all about our Favreau love on the Mandalorian in the Mandalorian ep that we're recording after this. Yeah.
Does Swingers count? Can he be in the movie or?
Look, I mean, you go either way. Go directed or acted.
I'm looking at his list right now. He's actually been around in stuff that I didn't even know he was involved in.
Dude, he was in like season 1 or 2 of Friends as the love interest for
I remember
Courtney
that.
Cox.
Not
he became a UFC fighter. Or it was early though.
Season 1. I think it was like more late actually.
You reckon?
Because she had already been involved with the mustache dude.
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck, yeah.
The mustache dude.
I'm not wrong. He is the mustache dude.
He's the mustache.
The mustache dude came back after. Like, he eventually came back again. But they already had their first whole spiel before he came in.
For me, it's always gonna be Iron Man 1 for me. Because there's so much about that movie that was done perfectly well. And without it, we don't live in the world that we do now. Like, I really do think that everything rode on that movie in ways that people do not credit it enough. But also, I'm a big fan of the movie Chef that he did. I really enjoyed that movie. The one where he...
I thought that was a very good movie.
Yeah, great movie.
I thought that was a very good movie. So if I'm looking at it in a vacuum...
Yep.
But Iron Man was so good.
Iron Man was... Yeah, I can't argue with Chu's answer on this one because...
The weight of
Iron
it especially
Man.
would make me go... That's why I said in a vacuum, because the weight of that especially... Like, you're right. Like, that set everything in motion, the success of that movie. So I would say that if I'm looking at it in a vacuum...
Yeah, I've always heard that acting and directing at the same time is just like a nightmare process.
Yeah.
And then he wrote himself as Happy Hogan, and a great version of Happy Hogan too, I might say. I really enjoy Favreau's take on that and the way that they've written that character.
Yeah.
But then to direct that as well, and to get Danny Jr., like the role of his career, really. I mean, he's been in some great stuff.
Yeah.
Like I love him in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, especially. But this is the movie that this is why he is in this industry. Like he is.
This defined
him.
him. This defined him.
Wasn't it Favreau that was like pushing to take the pass on Downey Jr.? Like he was pushing the studio heavily. He's like, no, we need this guy.
I can't remember which way that went. You are right about something in there. I know when they went to Iron Man 2, there was controversy surrounding Rhodey, but I don't know about Downey Jr.
There was something about actually the original guy that played Rhodey had pulled for Danny to become Iron Man as well.
Yeah.
And then in the second movie, Danny didn't do the same for him or something like
Terrence Howard. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was asking for the same amount of money as Danny Jr. It's like, bro, you're Rhodey, not Iron Man. That's not how this works.
Yeah.
And sorry, you won't get quite as much of a fortune. My bad.
Yeah.
Well, he would if he just shut
That's
his
what
mouth.
that's what I
Well,
that's
that's
what I mean.
100% true. Yeah, I mean, Edward Norton did exactly the same thing by being a giant dick and then trying to think he was bigger than the world on Hulk. And that was probably what the last major thing he ever really did. I've seen him in a couple of side
His career
things
suffered
since,
because of it.
Yeah, well, he was just getting a reputation as a giant asshole, which is so bad because he was in just so many amazing movies and he was great in them. He was in Fight Club.
American
he
History
was in
X.
Primal Fear is the one I was trying to reach for. I always think it was Cape Fear. That's a whole different movie. That's the one where he plays the lawyery one. Yes, that movie is exceptional. Have you seen that movie, Hero? Hebrew.
You can call me your
Primal
hero.
Fear.
That's fine.
Primal Fear.
I have not seen that movie. No.
You should watch it.
I will, because I do like Edward Norton a lot. My favorite movie of his is American History X. I think he was amazing in that movie.
Okay, if you like that, you like this. It's not as super violent. Well, actually, some parts, yeah.
It's not super violent. It's Primal Fear is so good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, my follow up to that, so my other one, just so you guys know of what I was weighing it against, and hear me out on this one. I'll show you my work. Elf. Because honestly, Elf, it does not have the seriousness at all. But Elf, come Christmas time, I could watch that movie fucking 30 goddamn times over and over again every Christmas. It is just so fucking funny and watchable. It's a classic for me. So, I would say, but overall, Iron Man wins out for a lot of different reasons. But Elf was my second.
Mm-hmm. And creative name, that's a follow-up question from last week. With all the recent announcements from Disney, which one of these episodes are we wanting the most? Which one of the new projects are we wanting the most from Disney?
Oh, Jesus.
There's so much that I have to look back up to see the...
Yeah. Because then it's like you split it.
Probably...
Yeah.
God damn it. There's so much. I want to say the Ahsoka series.
It's pretty... I mean, the High Republic one has so much potential too that it's kind of...
If it was Old Republic, instantly. But
High Republic gives them a chance to do a lot of random shit. Because I think this is the reason they've done it, mate.
Yeah.
Instead of Old Republic, is the Old Republic, you still now have bounds because there is an established canon set up there with Revan and whatnot.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go the end of the High Republic era... You can kind of do a lot of Old Republic type shit that they did with that series. You've got your own playground now. You know what came well before it. You know what came way after it. You've now got the middle ground. So I think that's why they chose it. And it's probably why I'm the most excited about that one. Because you're kind of seeing an era that is very much, I think, echoing a lot of the prequel series. That you've got, the Jedi and the Council, really running a lot of the shit. And then the Sith working as this underground rising evil. There's a lot of really cool shit you can do here. And then documenting the actual big event that leads to the start of the fall of the Republic. And then, going that through an expanded series, maybe with some time jumps as you go. There's so much you could do. So that's probably, I think, number one. Other than that, it's probably the Doctor Strange sequel. I think is the one I'm looking forward to the most right now.
I'm not gonna lie. Also, Eternals really has me interested as well. I'm really curious to see what happens with Eternals.
Yeah, the fact that they're spanning a story that's several thousand years makes me feel like we're gonna see like a greatest hits, but not really go in depth into any singular storyline. That I'm worried about how they do it. I think it's gonna be a great movie regardless, but whether it's going to be the thing that jumps out the most, I think it might suffer a bit of an Avengers syndrome, that you've got so many characters that you are... Actually, it's going to be worse in theory than Avengers because not only do you have so many characters, you have to introduce their story, you have to evolve that story and reach some kind of massive point in thousands of years, right? Whereas with this, they did it in like less than 10 for Phase 3 with, 16 movies or something? So... I'm worried that it's going to suffer from rushed.
Do we know that this is going to be spanning over like 1,000 years and then their story is done, or is this just the first step?
I don't know if it's done, but they're definitely it's going to be like doing a very, very large period of time this is going to cover. My understanding was it was to take them from their inception to like current events.
Okay, well, fair enough.
In the MCU. That was my understanding.
Well,
Could be wrong.
Just to finalize mine, I think Ahsoka takes the cake, although I have concerns still about that, but I think Ahsoka takes the cake right now. If High Republic was Old Republic, I would definitely pick that. High Republic, you're right. I'm certainly excited. That would probably be my second pick. But there's just, and I think you guys can agree, like there's so much stuff we love in Old Republic that I would love to see fucking on screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's mine. What about you, Hooch?
I'm thinking for me, one of the top ones is Thor, because I want to see what Taika does again with that, because Ragnarok is definitely one of my favorite Marvel movies. And it depends on what kind of mood I'm in, but it's up there with Black Panther and Ragnarok as like 1 and 2 as to like which one I want to watch in a moment. If I want to laugh, it's Ragnarok. If I want something good to just like to watch, then it's Black Panther.
I mean, Ragnarok's both good, funny to watch, but yeah.
Yes, but I have a bigger connection to Black Panther, obviously.
That makes sense.
Representation is
but
key.
Can't we all get behind the love of comedy and action?
Oh yeah,
that's what drives us together the most. Hence Thor Ragnarok.
The other one I was thinking of was Loki. I really want to see what they do with that. I like a good like time travel. That's one of the things I liked about Endgame was the time travel heist. I love how they do these things and tie things together and like little pieces like, oh, this happened because this person had an influence you didn't know about, but they were there. Those kind of things are really nice.
Would I be wrong to say like Doctor Who-ish vibes?
Kinda, yeah.
Doctor Who meets Legends of Tomorrow kind of vibes. What I got from that trailer.
Oh God, please don't say that.
Perfect.
In like how in concept with how random it looks though. Like,
yeah. I know.
Yeah. But there's like a time travel authority or something like that.
He could have said something worse. He could have said Jean-Claude Van Damme's Time Cop.
You're right.
But I mean, I'm surprised. Like the one thing that I know we're all looking forward to is Renegades.
That should be pretty good. Do you mean the Bad Batch?
No, not Bad Batch. No, what was the one?
Rangers.
The Corano one.
Yeah, Rangers.
Rangers. Damn it.
Rangers. It's like Renegades.
Rangers.
Yeah,
I blew the joke.
Are you dropping more inside info? Are you in the alpha for Star Wars Renegades? What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm
He's
just
the
basically
lead
trying
role
to make
in
this
Star Wars Renegades. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm trying to make this an episode where I just make Hebrew blow his shit.
That's just nope.
That'll be next week when you're in all these betas. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Now, as far as
I don't
announcements,
want to hear it. You guys played Mirrorverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can pretend to live in the Philippines.
Anyone can play Mirrorverse. Yeah, anyone can play Mirrorverse.
Yeah, you can live in Sumatra with all of us. All right.
Exactly.
So, as far as like what's coming out, obviously there's not much because we are leading into Christmas, but it is a great time to keep an eye out for sales, especially the couple of days after Christmas. You tend to find that the prices will jump up a bit the week into Christmas, where they'll go, yeah, it's 10% off, but it's that week in between where you'll see between Christmas and New Year's. That's when the bigger deals usually are. So if you don't have to buy something for a loved one, wait until those couple of days after Christmas. Normally pretty good. Obviously, there'll be a lot of post-Christmas sales as well in stores. But yeah, do the Googling. Make sure you log on the Epic Store daily from here on out if you are a PC user, because they are giving away free games. We saw City Skylines for free yesterday, Abe's Odyssey today. Who knows what's next? So just check it out. Free games is always good. Not much in the way of changes in subscriptions or Game Pass. They're always adding so much stuff into the most of those. I will say the Ubisoft one is still pretty good, even if you're only playing Valhalla and Watch Dogs. Immortals is fine, but we talked about some of its limitations last week. But before we get out of here, boys, we should definitely say thank you to those folks who have been supporting us with this show over on the Patreon. I know we say it all the time, but we really couldn't do this without you guys. So to our supporters, to Ox5, Batbutt, Connor L, Captain Jeepus, Goat, LFC Avenger, SylvJ03, Lunchbox, and Alan K. Thank you to you. To our A&R fanboys, to the Mad Dog, Dad's Wreck, Commander Hansen, Unhinged, Flexipotamus, Matt Bloody, Simon L, Incorrect User, Rockstar, Corey F, Dan, Snorlax Hunter, TT Marco, JJ Orbits, Curtis the Greek, Swain Hammer, Jamie, X23, Bearded Viking, Metalhead, Run and Gun 83, Dracul, Lili, Zateo Tech, Admirero, Frozen, Chief, Fat Honey Badger, and Pike. Thank you to all of you lads. To the dedicated, the ones that really start helping us get towards our bills being paid, to Nightside, Conway Supreme, Abyssarum, Captain Hammer, DJB, Morphine Dream, Cheetah, Hobbs, Tuggernuts, still one of the best, Andrew G, Domino Release, Paul Puck, Beer God, Cravino, Mookie, Grimnos, Justin Beard, Give Me Scotch, and our brand new addition to that tier, which is Blaff06. It's a pleasure to have you aboard, my man. The Multiverse Masters, featuring our very own Hooch, who is technically pay to play on this podcast, apparently. We keep making that joke, and we'll have to figure something out pretty shortly. Parker needs to tell us what the fuck he's going to do. So to the Multiverse Masters, thank you so much to all of you. We've got some things we want to try out in 2020, and we hope you guys are loving how much content we're trying to put out for you guys. I think last week's Patreon version was like 6 hours and 38 of content they had. It was pretty nuts.
Beast to record.
To Agent Zero, Honeycombs, obviously Dahooch, Silver Wolf, Bronzy, Jedi Matroza, Slim, J Shriver 138, Neil Wybird Wiley, Jackie 246, the Quixotic one, Lord Keen. Thank you very much for your ongoing support, mate. To Moon, Judas, Folpsy Schmaltzy, Spark Zulu, Dragus, to Kane, Creative Name, and McFly 1184. There is a name that is missing from there that I will clear up in a sec. That's what happens when you get someone join, but after I do the show notes, but before we record, guys. And then we have Kelmar is the name I'm looking for. Thank you so much to Kelmar. It's great to have you as part of the crew, mate. And thanks for stopping by the pre-show Patreon chat as well. And then, of course, we have to give him his own tier because he is our first motherfucking A&R Space Whale. I'm just going to call it the motherfucking Space Whales from now on. It's technically only A&R Space Whale, but I feel like it's worthy of the motherfucking. To Della. Honestly, he has supported just about every project that we've ever done from the start. We owe so much to this guy. He is our first premium mega Zord tier, whatever. But thank you so much for everything you've done from us, mate. It is very much appreciated.
Absolutely.
Heck to the yes. Any final thoughts this week, boys?
Just don't forget, if you guys really like The Mandalorian, we're going to be recording I don't know if we're going to do it after this or what, but we are going to be recording a Mandalorian episode where we just talk about the series now that this season is done. We go over it, so if you want to check that out, make sure to subscribe.
Yeah. Hooch?
For me, same thing. Like, can't wait to talk about some Mandalorian, and I'll try not to play any Diablo Immortal while we're talking.
Oh God, you better not.
You better.
My face.
Now, I am going to commit myself to something very unrealistic, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to try and get this episode out before Christmas. So we're recording this on the 19th. Normally I don't edit until about the 25th, which obviously I'm not going to do next week. So I guess I want to take this opportunity to say Merry Christmas to all of you. A lot of you, if I do get it out by then, I'm assuming you're not going to hear this until after that, because podcasting during Christmas, I mean, maybe you want to escape from your nightmare family on Christmas Day and just put us in your headphones. We'll keep you sane, folks. Maybe we'll drive you crazier. Who knows? Please stay safe this Christmas. It is just a weird year, and spending time with loved ones is more important this year. If you are, like myself, you're in a situation where you can't be with your family, reach out in the Discord as well. There's a lot of people in the same boat. It's really important you got people there for you this year. So if you are feeling a bit down, feeling a bit lonely, jump on the Alternerd Reality Discord. If you're in the Patreon chat, it goes without saying, DM me anytime you like. We're here for you guys. It's our community. And be aware of your mates this year as well. Like, it's a year that's fucked with a lot of people's heads. I don't think anyone's got through it with complete sanity, even the ones that have been very lucky and very blessed to still have jobs and houses and health and all that shit. But today's can get tough. So if you haven't heard from one of your boys or girls around that time, just reach out. So thank you very much to Hebrew Hammer.
Yep, thank you.
Merry Christmas, motherfucker. And a happy Hanukkah to you, Hooch.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me.
I feel like I
It's a
got
lot
that
of fun.
backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
What are the other ones? Festivus, Kwanzaa. What else is out there?
Kwanzaa's the
I don't know
only other
anymore.
one I know. There's something with the three. Let's say three wizards, but it's not wizards.
Three wise
That was
men.
Hogwarts. Three Wise Men's the
Three
Christian
wizards.
story.
Are we that far off? I mean, wizards, wise men, it's basically the same shit.
Dude, if there was like a religious event celebrating Hogwarts, I'm on board still.
I have always said that if like Greek mythology was still around, dude, it's just so much more interesting that I would go ahead and follow that just for funsies.
Yeah.
It's such a more interesting religion.
Yeah, people say Merry Christmas and you just go, and Zeus be with you.
Exactly.
Fuck yeah, man, I'm down with that shit. All right, I'm in Shoemaker 84. So look, make sure you tell your friends about this podcast if you're enjoying it. Make sure you head and leave those reviews over on Apple Podcast. If you want to support the show, head to patreon.com/ANRpod. Join us on the Discord if you're not already. We're talking a lot of nonsense about video games on the daily, as well as everything else nerdy. Have a great Christmas. Hopefully, we haven't decided if we're putting out a pre-New Year show. You'll either hear from us again in late December or, worst case, early Jan. Stay safe and cheers.